everyone. Hi. Hey, everyone. Good Thursday. Good Thursday. Hi, hi, hi. Hello. Hello. Bloody painter Damien. What? Huh? I'm confused. Enemy with the 37 months. Sorry, I cannot read. Thank you so much. Deeply appreciate it. Thank you so much. Here's one of the characters committed to felonies. Lamau. My characters are not me. I am not my characters. But yeah. Hi. Hi, everyone. How y'all doing? It is Thursday. It is relaxation day. It is I pray my headache does not come back day. But hello, hello. We are back in it. We are back in it with the streams. Hello, hello, hola, ciao, and bonjour. But yeah, we're doing a thing. Otome Game Queen. Yeah, we're back. I'm bringing out the Otome Queen just a little bit. I'm bringing out the Otome Queen a little bit. He does anything about TOUCHSTARVED? Not that I know of, in pure honesty. Because I was told to play this by my friend Yumi now. And so I said yes, publicly, on stream I said yes, I would play this. And so here we are, we're playing it right now. We're gonna play it. It's gonna be great. Do any help holding my glass? Oh no, I'm perfectly fine, thank you. I deeply appreciate I appreciate the politeness, thank you. Is this a new game for you? Yes. Have I played it before off stream? No, I have not. You love this game? Cool! I have no idea what this game's all about other than, like, eldritch horror, from what I hear. That's all I know is eldritch horror. But yeah. Hello! Heya, heya. Hello, hello. So yeah. Just so you all know, this is a demo. First and foremost, this demo is available on Steam right now. It was kickstarted and has a very successful Kickstarter, and it's currently in development for the full game, but we are trying the demo, because why not? Yep, I heard about the update. But we're back to the focus. We are trying out this demo to see what the heck's going on. Because people submitted stuff from TOUCHSTARVED to our Ghost or Toast Otome night. And of course, Humi is like, you have to play it. I'm like, okay. Aren't I an eldritch horror named Moo? No. No, I'm not. What is this game rated? I'm an adult. I want to be pretty. This, I believe it's rated M for mature because of, like, violence and stuff. I don't know if it has any sort of, like, NSFW stuff. I doubt it because it should be streamable. I doubt it would have NSFW things. But yeah, so if I decided to draw something after years, I'm like, yay, wonderful. Hello, hello, pleasure to see you. Welcome, welcome to the world of fiction. We are currently at the beach right now. But we're about to enter a world of spooky horror. Yeah, like there's apparently a lot of spooks, a lot of violence, a lot of reading, because it's a visual novel, obviously. So I'm gonna be having my gamut at reading. It'll be great. It'll be fine. It'll be fantastic. Love the character. Thank you so much. Mind you, this is just my summer outfit. My real outfit is still over at my apartment. We're just at the vacation home right now. Yeah. The bloody painted without the eldritch. I don't know what you're talking about. We're about to play TOUCHSTARVED. We are about to play the demo for TOUCHSTARVED. But yeah, so from what I know, we play as a main character who has a curse upon their body, which is very reminiscent of, what is it? Code Realize. Is Code Realize? Is it Code Realize? Or something like that. And we meet these 5 individuals who may or may not be eldritch monsters of some kind. I don't know. That's what I gleaned. So who knows what'll happen? Who knows what's gonna happen? We're gonna figure it out on the way. You like a spooky game? Yeah. Doesn't eldritch horror seem familiar? Yes, it does, because I voiced Lynetta, the ultimate eldritch horror being. But of course, we're taking it seriously because remember, for those of you who do not know, I used to be a visual novel developer. I've developed multiple visual novels such as like Seduce Me the Otome, Valentine Panic, Remember. So visual novels are not a stranger to me. I love visual novels. That was my bread and butter for a long period of time. So yeah. How is it scary? There's sex. I don't know how it's scary. I just heard it was scary. So I was just like, meh. Lynetta from Sucker for Love. Eldritch Monster Day. That's what I know. I don't know much. I do not know much. Stephen Ross with the 1466. With the 20 Canadian. It's good you're not your characters, otherwise you'd have dissociative disorder or of biblical proportions. Extremely fair point. But yeah, I voice Lynetta, but my personality is. No, it's not. No, that was a joke. That was a joke. She's a writer. I'm a writer. Katie, Crease Retros Jordans. Crease Retros Jordans. Oh my goodness. Anyways, so we're playing a demo today. I don't expect it to be more than 3 or 4 hours. We're only gonna do one route. We're not doing all of them because I want you all to try it if you like it, and I want you all to experience it if you like it. We will be just going one route. We'll figure out one route, and we'll figure out who's the best one to go for. If you know TOUCHSTARVED, great. Have fun watching me react to your favorite characters. If you don't know what the hell's going on, you're in for the ride with me. Demo is absolutely free. Was that even creasing Jordans? That's English. Anyways, so we're gonna jump right in, get this going, because the demo is pretty significantly big, especially if you're reading out loud. But I guess we'll see what's going on with this game. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into the A-Seed Beach House. Come on. All right. Why is the game not there? It is. Like, why did the game not show up? I gotta put my drink away. All right. All right. Let's see what's going on here. Should I bring this out? Nah, I shouldn't bring it out. It's fine. It's keyboard and mouse. Down the line, I'll have a keyboard and mouse. Down the line, I'm gonna have a keyboard and mouse. All right. Go ahead and move myself a little bit. Yep. Is this demo free? Yeah, I said like 3 times, the demo's free. The demo's free on Steam. Woodchuck, woods, and woodchuck. Okay, we're moving on. Okay, we're gonna move on now. So this is TOUCHSTARVED, as you can see, very spooky menu. Salty with a $10 super chat. How am I gonna say hi? Have fun. Thank you for your V8 class stream. Sincerely, guy from the middle of nowhere, USA. Thank you so much for watching the stream, and thank you so much for taking the information. I hope your voice acting endeavors go well, whether it be hobby or professional. Thank you so much. All right. So, did it just drop? This TOUCHSTARVED's been out for a while. TOUCHSTARVED's been out for a while. This is the demo. I want everyone to remember that. This is the demo. I even have it in the title description. I have it in the thumbnail. I have it when I was talking about. This is the demo. So, yeah, we're gonna try it. We're doing one route. Do not expect me to be like, but Michaela, go this route. Michaela, go that route. Michaela, go this. No. One route. You want to try it? Play on your own. Give this a shot. Because Hiyumi said this would be worth my time. And I'm like, okay, I trust you, Hiyumi. I've known you for a long while. I trust you. Hi, Katie. If we touch, do we starve? I don't know. I don't know. But are you all ready? Ready, your butts? Y'all ready? Your butts? I also have my drink. And forgive me if I have any voice cracks. I did a lot of vocal work this morning. So. Alright. Let us go and start. Okay. Disclaimers. Thank you. Streamers and content creators should turn the music volume to 0 in order to disable copyrighted music. Son of a bitch. Okay. This demo is of the TOUCHSTARVED prologue and not the finished project. Thank you. Okay. I'll suck it up. Content warning! TOUCHSTARVED is intended for an older audience. It contains mature content that includes, but is not limited to, horror, graphic violence, strong language, alcohol and drug references, injury, and dismemberment. Player discretion is advised. Okay. Cool. If you accept the content warning, please click to proceed. Cool. Tutorial. In TouchStarved, your choices matter. The decisions you make may result in unique dialogue, interactions, or even choices in red text, which contain exclusive content. Try playing through the demo more than once and choosing different options. You might even uncover a secret ending. But remember, there are no wrong choices, just interesting ones. Choose wisely and save often. Okay. Hey, Michaela. I love you too, Katie. Alright. Okay. Left click to progress through dialogue and text. Mouse wheel up to rewind. Mouse wheel down to progress. Spacebar to hide the UE. Okay, so spacebar is hide the UE, not the H bar. Great. Well, because it's not visual. This was made in Unity, not RenPy. Okay, great. My name. Do I go with my name or my stand-in? I'll go with my stand-in. There we go. There's my stand-in. I have a stand-in, for those of you who don't know, I have a stand-in. It's either Mahali, Maya, or my own name. So I'm gonna go with Mahali. There you go. Hold on, wait. Sound, music, down. There you go. Music will be not 0. It'll just be down. So choose pronouns. They, them, she, her, he, them. How am I feeling today? I feel kind of femme. Let's go femme. This world began to unravel long before you were born. Oh. It began with fogfall. Spectral mist bled from the seams where reality wore so thin, it split. And from that fog emerged monsters, inhuman beings with unnatural powers. Some possessed language and intellect. Others were mindless beasts, driven by little more than the desire to slaughter. As cities fell and unrest spread, humans united in their fear, while monsters thrived in the chaos. And then, there's you. You're not even sure if you're human. You were born cursed, with hands that alter the minds of anyone you touch. Choose your backstory. Oh, okay. What kind of backstory? Oh, hello. The Unnamed, the Hound, the Alchemist. Unnamed, the Fallen Oracle. You were raised by as an oracle in a remote temple. The priest claimed your touch bestowed enlightenment, but a visiting mage revealed your curse for what it is. Following the mage's word, you fled in search of the cenobium. You regularly experience unnatural premonitions that rattle your body and soul. An innate sixth sense gives you a heightened awareness of hidden supernatural presences around you. Okay. The Hound, Forsaken Thief. You were raised by society outcasts, criminals who accepted you when no one else would. Your partner in crime, a friend since childhood, helped you steal enough money for a cure, then betrayed you. They left you with only enough coin to travel to the cenobium, your last hope. You have sharply honed social intuition. You can survive and even thrive in the violent underbelly of any city, using your experience with the underworld to get ahead. The Alchemist. An exiled cenobium mage took you in as a child, raising you as her apprentice. She seemed to take pity on your curse, but you discovered that she was cultivating you as a test subject. You fled to the cenobium, seeking a cure. You're an experienced spellcaster with an encyclopedic knowledge of alchemy, spellcraft, and history. With little observation, you can identify the subtle effects of magic. Ooh. All of these are pretty damn good. I think I'm gonna go with the Fallen Oracle, just because I like the idea of having a little more insight, supernaturally. Especially if we're in a world full of magic, especially in a world where, like, anything can fucking happen. It's kind of really nice. So I'm gonna go with the Unnamed. We're gonna go, yeah, Unnamed, a Fallen Oracle. We'll go with that. Your name is Mahali. You selected she, her pronouns. Your backstory is the Unnamed. Is this correct?
Yep.
The wasteland stretches as far as the eye can see. There's nothing out here but death, the ever-present stench of decay, and countless sun-bleached bones cast like seeds across the barren land. I could say death doesn't scare me, but to tell the truth, I'm desperate. It's been 2 weeks since I joined a caravan bound across the wastes. Finding a group that would accept me was a trial within itself. As rations grew sparse and my canteen ran dry, I began to despair. But then I saw it. Is that the cenobium? Okay. Meridia, the city of knowledge, one of the last bastions of humanity left in the world, and home of the famous academy called the Cenobium. Okay. All the world's knowledge gathered in one place. If there's anywhere I'll find a cure for my curse, it's there. Oh, so we're literally trying to access the Library of Alexandria. Okay. All that stands between me and a cure is a final stretch of salt-soaked wastes. Or so I think, until I see the first tendrils of fog snaking beneath the wagon. Is this fogful? My stomach sinks at the very whisper of it. A silent storm more devastating than fire. Dangerous in cities, but a death sentence beyond them. A thick blanket of fog engulfs us, smothering out the lantern's light. The wagon lurches to a stop. An eerie silence, heavy as the mist, falls over us. The only warning we get is a strangled scream. Stay back! No! The cry dissolves into wet burg. Then the wagon violently pitches to the side. I hit the ground hard, the air punched from my lungs. When I opened my eyes, adrenaline lend sudden, awful clarity to the carnage around me. A trader I once shared bread with lies face down in the mud, their back reduced to long strings of torn muscle, gleaming gristle, and exposed bone. Bodies litter the wasteland. I try to rise, but my ankle explodes with pain so blinding, white blooms across my vision. Only when my eyes adjust do I see the dark shape in the front of me. Oh, I hate that! Oh, I hate that. Cool. Great. That's fantastic to look at. A soulless. Am I able to, like, see what that is? Okay, no. A soulless stooped over the twisted form of the caravaner. I freeze, but it swivels its head. A dozen bulging eyes twitch in my direction and blink as one. The soulless lets out an ear-splitting shriek and runs at me. But right before it reaches me, the beast barrels past, vanishing into the mist. Distantly, a horse screams in the dark. I need to move now. City, we gotta go. I take off, running deeper into the haze. The fog is so thick that I fear I'm headed in the wrong direction until I see a dim pinprick of light emanating from the shadow of the spire. It's faint, but it's enough. I came too far to die here. Rapid footsteps echo all around me. I turn in circles, frantically searching the opaque mist for the source, but the fog fall twists and stretches sound. Suddenly, the caravan's driver bursts forth from the fog. Our eyes meet too late. He slams into me, knocking me into the ground, and slips in a patch of mud. The soulless falls on him as soon as he slows. He catches the driver by his throat and rakes his stomach with razor-sharp claws. He comes apart like wet paper, spilling intestines and viscera in streaming tide. Fighting the urge to heave, I claw frantically through the slippery muck for a handhold. Shit! My hand catches on the jagged edge of a rib jutting up from the water. Bandages unfurl around the gorge, torn deep into my palm. The pain is quickly forgotten when a hand closes around my wrist. Can you stand? One of the travelers in the caravan leans over me. We need to run! They reach for my hand, and I realize too late that my bandages have come undone. No! Don't touch me! The sensation of their thumb brushing the back of my hand sends a shiver down my spine. All it takes is one touch, and in the space of a breath, my curse takes hold. Their lips peel back into a deranged grin. Oh, that's terrifying. No. I've seen this face countless times before. This is my curse. Madness of my own making. grip on my hand tightens until the pain radiates from my knuckles. Let me go! Suddenly, clammy hands crush my throat, choking off my breath. Die! Die, 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 die! Spit bubbles at the corners of their mouth and flecks my face. The edges of my vision darken as my lungs scream for air. I gotta fight him off. My nails gouge into the traveler's wrist, but no matter how much blood I draw, they don't flinch. The more I struggle, the more their grip grows. My pulse hammers in my ears, slowing with each thudding beat. This can't be happening. I'm going to die. And not because of the fogfall or the solace, but because of my own curse. Tears sting my eyes. No, no, no. Not here. Not like this. The hands drop from my neck, leaving me wheezing for air. My lungs burn with each ragged cough. My vision clears and the traveler's face takes shape, hovering inches from mine, lips still split in that macabre smile, even as blood seeps between their teeth. They give one last shuddering breath, then slump over the claws hooked through their stomach. The soulless shoves the body aside, and their glowing eyes studying its leathery skin thin as though grinning. The flash of claws, red spill across my vision. I thought there'd be pain, but as I sink into the murky water, all I can feel is the grit of the slit filling my mouth and the icy embrace of shallow water. Distantly, I notice an arm resting among an outcrop of reeds. Mine, neatly severed at the elbow. I shouldn't have taken both arms. I should have taken both arms. Without them, maybe I could have survived. Maybe I could have had a home. Instead, I'll die cold, alone, and face down in a desolate wasteland. A fitting end for a monstrosity like me. Well, shit, we're dead. Well, shit, we died. Are we in heaven? Are we resetting? Is this like one of those rewind time isekais where we just rewind time? Is that the case where we get to rewind time? Hold on, I'm opening up my drink. That's a fun intro. I like that intro. That definitely kind of sets the mood of kind of what we're dealing with. I like it. All right. If this is death, it's not as bad as I feared. The cold is gone, as is the choking stench of bog water. I could drift forever, cocooned in oblivion, until all thought and sensation vanished. No curse, nobody howling at me in madness and terror. Nothing at all. The thought has a terrible appeal to it. For the next moment, I take a reflexive breath. Air pours into my lungs, then out again with a ragged gasp. Feeling comes flooding back, warm cloth on my bare skin, a firm surface underneath me, strange tang of sulfur in the air. Do not be afraid. Okay, I shall not be afraid. Oh! I twist my head toward the voice. Tears flood my bleary vision at the bright glow of lamp. Try not to move. The voice is calm, steady, and commanding. But more importantly, it's a stranger's voice. One thought cuts through my mental fog. I have no idea who this is, and I'm completely at their mercy. Stay away from me! My words come out in a little more than a creaky whisper. I clamp my mouth shut, hating how weak and helpless I sound. No. No? Who the hell is this? Nope, don't fight it. You just got out of a big fight. I let myself slunk back against the thin pillow, wincing when the motion jolts my head. Ah, a cooperative patient. Thank you. The words swim in one ear and out the other without much comprehension, I pull the sheet up tighter, tighter, wiping my eyes until my vision clears. Oh, hello. The stranger towers over my prone form. Warm light reflects off his pristine medical coat. That's a medical coat? Okay, cool. Oh, nice. And very pristine. Not a lot of markings on it. Do you do a lot of work as a medical professional? I instinctively shrink back, and that's when I notice that I'm completely naked, except for a thin linen sheet. Naked. Lying on a low cot, with a pair of sharp golden eyes watching my every move. The man's gaze flickers to my exposed, unbandaged hands. I plunge my hands under the sheet to hide them from sight, though it's too late. He must have noticed what they look like. Strange. Cursed. Inhuman. I brace myself for his inevitable suspicion and disgust, but his expression doesn't even flicker from that courteous smile. He just watches in placid silence as I struggle to make sense of my surroundings. Where am I? Who are you? Be calm. You are safe. Whoever this is, he clearly has no idea who or what I am. I've never been safe anywhere, with anyone. Even the shrine of my childhood, the one sanctuary I ever knew, turned out to be a horrific lie. I scowl, pulling the sheet protectively around myself. Where are my clothes? The man's golden eyes narrow slightly. A sharp sigh rustles the papers in his hands. I see you are not dissuaded. Your clothes were torn to shreds when I found you, but I procured replacements. Oh, thank you. Oh. With a soft creak, he stands from his chair, giving me a better view of my surroundings. I seem to be in some sort of medical clinic. Bottles of silvery alchemical concoctions line the counters in neat rows. The air makes my nose twitch, a faint whiff of smoke and something distinctly metallic I can't quite place. The doctor produces a large, dense bundle of cloth, which he sets at the foot of my cot. He's easily a head taller than most, and I have to crane my neck to look at him. Oh, so, like, you're really fucking tall. Great. That's not that hard for a shorty like me, but okay, great. Do I want to be polite to this guy? Hold on. Also, I'm making sure that I'm not, like, missing a thing. Because I'm like, I feel like I'm missing something. Am I missing anything? No, I'm not missing anything, right? No, ain't no way. I'm not missing anything. No, I shouldn't be missing anything. Okay. This reminds me of being in the middle of another room. What? Yes, Daddy Lamau. As much as you are a medical doctor, would you mind stepping out while I take my clothes and, like, put them on? I get you're a medical doctor. I get you probably want to see something and make sure that I'm medically okay, but I think you've already taken enough of the advantage while I was knocked out unconscious. So, would you mind stepping out, please? I lift my head, looking defiantly into those golden eyes. Meeting his gaze sends a hot aversion down my spine. Something about him nags at me, like a half-formed memory I can't place. Could you step out first? I'm not getting dressed with you, Stan. To my surprise, the man's mouth works. I was not planning on watching. Still smiling to himself, he disappears through a narrow door. I hear a soft click as the lock turns behind him. I count to 3 in the sudden silence. When I don't hear any more footsteps, I reach for the bundle of clothes. An itch on my elbow stops me short. I reach out absently to rub at it, then freeze when my fingers meet a neat line of stitches. He stitched up my arm! I know what I saw. That beast took my arm clean off. And yet my arm shows no sign of injury apart from the black stitches poking through my skin. I gingerly flex my fingers, feeling my heart race at the sensation. This is impossible. I should be dead, or at the very least, gasping out my last breaths. I squeeze my eyes shut, waiting for the pleasant dream to unravel, to wake up bleeding out in the swamp. But nothing happens. Seconds tick by. My arm remains resolutely healed, my surroundings pristine and quiet. In numb disbelief, I reach for the replacement clothes and begin stiffly pulling them on. They're thicker and warmer than mine were, with a black woolen cloak to go with them. But there's one thing missing. My bandages. Golden-eyed man didn't leave me with any, even though I know he saw my hands. I slide off the bed and take a few unsteady steps towards one of the drawers. If this is indeed a doctor's clinic, there must be bandages somewhere. I start opening drawers at random, and of course, that's when the door swings open once more. Are you looking for something? I whirl around, clutching a thick roll of clean bandages. I try to step back from him, but my legs bump against the edge of the cot. Your caution is understandable, though if I meant you any harm, you would know. That doesn't make me feel better in the slightest. But he makes no move towards me, so I quickly wind the bandages around my hands. The glowing scars and molded skin appear under a layer of clean white cotton. May I ask why you need additional bandages? I clench my jaw. I knew it would only be a matter of time before he asked about my hands, though the way he does it is strangely roundabout. Why would I just not tell him? I have nothing to lose. I literally have nothing to lose. Why can't I just tell him? Thank you so much, Jojo. I deeply appreciate it. Like, why can't I just tell him? I guess maybe because I don't know him. But at the same time, that's like, then why hide it? Who cares? If you don't know him, it's not like he's gonna be using it. Because, like, if he touches you, then, like, I'll decline. Well, that's a very personal question, and I really don't want to answer. Is that so? Surely you realize I can only help if you tell me what ails you. An involuntary snort of laughter escaped me. Where would I even begin? Would he even believe me if I told him? No. Best to keep my curse to myself for now, and learn more about him first. Who are you? You may call me Chris. Oh, yeah, you were one of the suggestions from the Otome Ghost or Toast. So you're cursed. Okay, cool. And where exactly am I? Iridia, which I assume was your caravan's destination. I can think of nowhere else for a group of travelers to go. Iridia. So I made it to the City of Knowledge after all. I should feel relieved, but all I can manage is a vague sense of increasing unease. How did I end up here? I brought you to my clinic, of course. You were the only survivor from the caravan, barely clinging to life. You needed immediate treatment. Which you provided. Yes. He says it so simply, as if I'm a small child and he's explaining basic addition to me. I frown and flex the fingers on my recently healed arm. Aside from being a bit stiff, it feels fine. Thoroughly attached to me. You're saying that you stitched my arm back on? Pardon? A soulless attacked the caravan. It ripped everyone to shreds. It tore my arm clean off! But when I woke up here, I trail off, bewildered. I've never heard of any magic that could heal a mortal wound like that. What kind of person could do such a thing? The doctor, Purus, pinches the bridge of his nose. He sits back down in his chair, quiet for a long time. I do not know where you are from, but Iridia is the city of knowledge, and deadly secrets alike. Information is power. It is most unwise to give or receive it freely. Since you have refused to divulge your secrets, I will not divulge mine. I do not even know your name. You are new to Iridia, so I will overlook this specific breach of etiquette. However, you should not expect others to extend the same courtesy. Do you understand? Perfectly. He looks pointedly at my freshly bandaged hands. Loath though I am to admit it, he has a point. I am also a complete stranger to him, and if he's telling the truth, he saved my life. I take a deep, steadying breath. This time, when I speak, I sound a bit more like myself. Mahali. My name is Mahali. It is a pleasure to meet you, Mahali. There's a little more warmth in his smile, his polite demeanor back in an instant. Thank you for saving me. Let's be appreciative this time. Thank you for saving my life. I chance to smile in return. Even if he won't explain how he did the impossible, there's no doubt in my mind that I'd be dead if not for Kuras. Kuras? Is it pronounced Kuras? Kuras? I'm thinking Kuras or something like that. Thinking nothing of it. I'm not sure if he's just being excessively courteous, but his words only raise more urgent questions. Did he have to touch your arm to reattach it? That's what I'm thinking. He touched his arm. That means he's not human. He's clearly not. I'm willing to bet the 5 guys that we meet are absolutely 100% not human at all. I'm willing to bet he's like some sort of demon or like some sort of like eldritch being. But I have to ask, why did you save me? You don't know me. The question seems to startle Chris. I could hardly leave you to die in the wastes. Assisting those in need is the very essence of a doctor's duty. Karash? Okay. I've never met a doctor who also handed out free clothes. My fingers find the edge of the cloak. There's a subtle but delicately embroidered pattern around the hem. I try not to think about what kind of price Kuras might seek for such well-made clothes. No, I suppose not. Forgive my presumption. I rarely come across so fascinating a patient. Really? You find me fascinating? Okay, I find you fascinating. I blink. What did you just say? I simply meant that few would cling to life so resolutely, or brave such a perilous journey to Iridia. I could not help but being curious about you. His voice dips into a soft murmur, and he abruptly looks away from me. You're pretty curious yourself. We've just met, but if we are indeed, like, being curious about each other, I'll be honest about it. You're pretty curious yourself. Am I? Well, I haven't forgotten about my arm. I wiggle my intact fingers at him. Clearly not. But you haven't asked me for any payment either. I require none from you. Travelers do not have an abundance of coin, and it would be unethical to leave you destitute in a strange place. I fall silent, unsure of what to say about that. Unsure what to say to that. Nobody would help a horror like me for free. There has to be some kind of trick or catch, right? Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. If he's giving you help for free, shut the fuck up and take the free help! A loud knock at the front door stops our conversation cold, and spares me from having to say anything else. Duty calls. Unfortunately, you are not my only patient. The knocking grows more insistent, and Kuras lets out a sigh. Please wait your turn. Though he says it quietly, the clamor on the other side of the door abruptly stops. Do you need anything before you leave, Molly? Oh! Between the soulless attack and my miraculous survival, I'd almost forgotten why I came to Iridia in the first place. I need directions to the cenobium. Cenobium? The look on his face is downright chilling. He pauses, choosing his words with cold deliberation, and speaks again. Is the cenobium bad? Whatever you seek, it is very unlikely you will find it. The cenobium's gates open for precious few visitors. Even if they did, you would not like what you found inside. My heart sinks. Is he saying that I came all this way for nothing? Risked life and limb for nothing? No, that can't be. I've only just arrived, and Iridia is the largest city still standing. There has to be a cure for me here. Then, if not the cenobium, where would you suggest? Do you know anyone else in Iridia? I shake my head. Then I suggest a local guide. Head to the Wetwick and ask for Leander. Oh, that's the other guy. That's the guy that Hiomi liked. Leander, I remember that name. Excuse me, the what? The Wetwick. He sounds deeply unamused. See, I wasn't gonna say anything about the obvious pun of the name, but I'm not like, okay, great. Follow the postings advertising Leander's bloodhounds. They are difficult to miss. When you meet Leander, tell him I sent you. That isn't much to go on, but Ross points towards the clinic's back door. You will be safe so long as you do not draw attention to yourself. That's easier said than done. I've always been a magnet for the worst sort of attention. If you require my assistance, you may return whenever you wish. Though he's smiling, there's a note of finality in his voice. Resigned to my dismissal, I slip out the back door. Alright. I find myself standing in a narrow and rather gloomy alley. I pull the new cloak up over my nose, stepping over the contents of chamber pots that have been emptied into the street. Something weighs heavily inside one of the cloak's pockets. My coin purse. Everything is still inside. Every last coin that I'd scraped together for the journey to Iridia. It doesn't even look like it was opened. There were so few coins to begin with, they probably weren't worth stealing. I glanced back at the clinic's closed door. Ross didn't take any payment. He didn't even ask for a future favor. Huh. Interesting. Okay. But he also said that in Iridia, secrets are power. Does he expect me to give up mine at some point? That's not exactly a comforting thought. Still, no matter why he did it, Ross gave me a second chance and a lead on where I might find help. I'd better get going before he changes his mind. I squeeze out of the alley and into the crowded main street. The line outside Karas's clinic stretches down the road already. Two thin peddlers queue alongside weathered elders. If any place is in desperate need of a free clinic, it's this one. The cobblestones are treacherously rough under my feet, deep grooves worn between them by regular flooding and decades of hard use. I knew Iridia was a river city, but I didn't expect it to look so eroded. The buildings are tired and dilapidated, all crammed together in narrow streets. And there's something else. A charge in the air like the shift in pressure before storm. It's subtle. Little more than a faint, persistent thrumming. But I can't seem to shake it. A child darts by, clutching something greasy wrapped in paper. The smell of fried food drifts over to me. My stomach gives a faint gurgle. This morning's catch, fried up, hot and fresh. Do not too many eyeballs today. That sounds disgusting. But I am starving. So I duck my head under the stall's grubby awning. A large fish leers up at me, 3 bulging eyes still visible through the thick layer of crispy batter. The vendor gives me a gape-toothed grin. What's the cheapest thing you got? The vendor points at the metal basket of what looks like long strips of savory fried dough. Fresh long, lads. 3 copper apiece. Don't burn your mouth. I take the coins out, counting them gingerly. At this rate, I might not even be able to afford dinner. Reluctantly, I drop the payment on the counter and take my meal. 2 streets later, I pass under a wrought iron archway adorned with dangling garlands of pink and red lilies. The buildings in this quarter are a dizzying riot of color, painted walls and tinted glass everywhere I look. It looks very, very nice. Sheer red and pink curtains flutter in open doorways, musical voices call out invitingly. Incense mingles with the pungent scent of flowers, barely covering the salt and musk of warm bodies. Oh, it's a red light district! Cool, great. This must be Iridia's entertainment district. I'm polishing off my food and dusting the crumbs off from my hands when I spot a poster. It features the silhouette of a smiling man wearing a single dagger-like earring with the words Bloodhounds printed above his head. A motto, as above, so below, circles the artwork. If Leander is the leader of the Bloodhounds, then the face printed on the poster is most likely his. I follow the line of identical posters around the corner and nearly hit my head on the previously dangled wooden sign. Looking up, faded orange letters reads, The Wet Wick. The facade of the building looks like it had seen better days, but I hear faint music and laughter coming from inside. Okay. Hello. The inside of the bar is a far cry from the abandoned exterior. It's not even midday, yet most of the tables and booths are occupied by a loose assembly of people in matching green cloaks. Bustling bars are not something I'm used to, but I steel myself with a deep breath before pushing forward. A cursory glance doesn't turn up anyone with a dagger-sharp earring. I'm about to head towards the counter when a chant rises from the center of the room. Show! 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 The remaining green cloaked abandon the bar and their booths to rush towards the center of the room with a sudden torrent. There's no time to move out of the way. I'm caught, swept along in the ale-stench current. Hey! Rhythmic chanting drowns out my voice. I thrash, throwing out my elbows as the press of bodies grows heavier. My hips knock into a table. I grip it, holding on tightly to steady myself, but the crowd is stilled. The chanting stops. That's almost really strangely well-timed. A pair of gilded boots stride across the tabletop. Hello? Hello? Seriously? You dogs again? Scattered laughter and cheers rise from the audience. I drag my eyes upward. Leander! Hi! You're Humi's guy, right? A well-dressed man stands on the table in front of me, his broad shoulders framed by thick lapels of a trench coat. This really is the last time, all right? This time when he speaks, the audience falls silent, as though bewitched by his magnetic presence or rich, low voice, which I do not have, but fuck it, I'm going to try. But nothing is as captivating as a smile. He beams at the crowd around him, a performer on his makeshift stage. Don't blink, or you'll miss it. He laughs, and the dagger-shaped earring dangling from his left ear catches the light in a flash of gold. It would seem I found Leander. He raises his hand above the audience and snaps. A flash of pale green light, real magic, no ordinary stage trick, blinds me. Hello. As brilliance ebbs, my gaze refocuses on the mage towering above me. He flicks his wrist, and the magic spiraling around him coalesces. A delicate flower stem sprouts from between his pinched fingers. One by one, growing lily petals spring forth. With a flourish, the mage presents the conjured flowers. The audience bursts into clapping and cheers. A genuine magic show was the last thing I expected from a place called the Wet Wick. Leander plucks the iridescent bouquet out of the air and turns in a slow circle, giving his audience a good look. Now, who could use some good luck? Eager onlookers scoot closer to the table. Some reach for the lilies, while others whistle and call Leander's name. But his cool green eyes slide right over them, locking on to me instead. How about you? My chest tightens. Every person gathered turns to stare at me. Sure. You're offering, we're in public. Why not? I could use a little luck. I reach out, all too aware of the way my fingers tremble as I carefully take the flowers from him. There's no weight to them, only a faint warmth that radiates from the stems. As soon as the flowers leave Leander's hand, their light dims. They fade away in a shower of opalescent light. To my surprise, Leander laughs under his breath. That's the problem with flowers. They don't last long, but they leave an impression, right? He grins at me, and I find myself smiling back. Leander steps off the table, dropping among the excited crowd with an audible clink. All right, bloodhounds, get back to your drinks. Show's over. The green cloaks disperse at his command, returning to their tables and booths. Before I can make my way towards Leander, his eyes find me. He gives me a friendly wave, then beckons me over to the crowded counter. I manage to squeeze beside him, but there's so little room that his broad shoulder brushes against mine. I tense, but he doesn't seem to mind at all. Is this your first time in Iridia? He says it lightly, with a genuine air of curiosity. Do I stick out that much? No, but I'm certain I'd remember seeing a face as lovely as yours around Lowtown. Oh, you charmer. Shut the fuck up. My eyes flicker to the polished countertop. I'm not used to flattery, and being this close makes eye contact difficult. As if on cue, the bartender approaches us. What can I get you? Surprise me. And add anything my friend wants to my tab. I wasn't expecting the generosity, but I have to admit, I do feel a little thirsty after all that fried dough. Oh no. That's a tough one right there. That's tough. How do I determine? How do I decide? Because like I just came out of a really terrible situation. I should probably hydrate and get some water. But at the same time, like, what is he having? What is indeed? What, you know, maybe I should start saving. Yep. There we go. I'll have what he's having. Fuck it. I'm down. I'm down to try. I'll have what he's having. While the bartender leaves to fix our drinks, Leander leans on his elbows on the counter. I'm close enough to notice the purple shadows under his lower lids. His eyes wander over me in return. When they lock on my bandaged hands, the sour taste rises in my throat. Here come the questions. So, what brings you to the Wick? Faraz sent me. He pushes the hair back from his forehead, but immediately falls right back into place. So, it's about work. The bartender returns with a pair of glasses filled with what I could only assume is beer. Okay, so an ale. I raise my glass and give it an experimental sniff. It smells faintly yeasty, but with an undercurrent I can't quite place. A quick sip confirms my worst suspicions. It's awful! Somehow briny and sour in a way that reminds me of pickles. Oh god, it's a pickle ale? This is a pickle ale, and hello. I'm getting pinged. It's all good. I'm getting pinged and it's fine. It's all good. I'm gonna talk about it later. But yeah, it's a pickle ale. It's a pickle ale. But any thought of complaining dies the moment I look up and see Leander taking a steep swig from his glass. He lets out a satisfied breath. Okay, time to pinch your nose and swig. Pinch your nose and just let it go down the throat. How can I be of assistance? I need to get to the cenobium. As soon as the word cenobium leaves my mouth, the entire bar falls silent. Bloodhounds twist around in their seats to gawk openly. Finally, an especially drunk one speaks up. The hell are you bringing up the cenobium in here? Throw him out! This is bloodhound territory! Vitriol catches me off guard from the angry looks thrown my way. It's clear I've broken some kind of unspoken rule by mentioning the cenobium. When I glance at Leander, he's drinking, as though he hasn't noticed the uproar. Only when he catches me looking does he lower his glass. He drags a hand down his face. Hey, keep it down, will you? This is business! I tense, expecting an argument. But the outspoken bloodhounds silently return to their drinks. Only a handful continue to watch me warily. Sorry about them. The cenobium is a bit of a touchy subject in these parts. Makes it enough drinks and, well, you saw. How about we continue this outside? When I give him a terse nod, he pushes away from the bar counter. Alright, that's not... You know, the cenobium's got some bad shit here. Alright. I follow Leander to an alleyway tucked behind the wet wick where layers of frayed bloodhound posters have been plastered to the walls. Seeing them side by side, the resemblance between Leander and his likeness on the posters is impressive. Curtis didn't send you here for the help with cenobium, did he? From the look he gives me, he already knows the answer. I glance away. No, he didn't. He suggested I find an alternative. Yet here you are, asking about them anyway. What do you need the cenobium for? I don't want to tell him about my curse. The less people know about my capabilities, the better. Thankfully, Leander takes my reluctant silence as an answer. Well, see you're already aware of the city's currency. Information's worth its weight in gold. First, Curus told you the truth. The cenobium's dangerous. Get on their bad side and they'll imprison you if you're lucky, or torture you if you're not. But the cenobium's supposed to be a place of learning, a sanctuary. The cenobium has always been heralded as the last bastion of human knowledge, a beacon, a shining beacon of hope in a world steeped with nightmares. If any place held secrets, it would be the cenobium. That's why I came here. If I spin around in this chair for 20 hours, do you think it would have the same effect as me? Yes. That's what they want you to think. The things that seem too good to be true are often just that. Such a simple statement, yet it leaves me reeling. If it's true, if I staked everything on a lie, then what now? Leander clears his throat. But as I always say, there's solutions to every problem, and alternatives to every solution. He claps his hands and turns to me with a brilliant smile. That's why Curse pointed you to the Bloodhounds. Let us help you. Whether it's hunting soulless, finding people, or recovering stolen valuables, we can do it all, and free of charge. I'm shaking my head before he's even finished his practice speech. My patience is wearing dangerously thin. Listen, I appreciate the offer, but my problem can't be solved by a group of good Samaritans. To my chagrin, Leander nods slowly. Then your problem must be fairly serious. And if the cenobium's your first choice, you're searching for a magical solution, aren't you? When my eyes widen, he nods along, as though he suspected all along. I'd be happy to help you out. That is, if you'll tell me what ails you. Leander might not work for the cenobium, but he is a mage, and a powerful one, if his demonstration earlier is any indication. I'm silent, plagued by indecision. I don't know if I can trust him, but it's not like I have any alternatives. I hate to admit it, but this could be my only path forward. My confession comes out in a pained whisper. I'm cursed. Cursed? Oh, now I'm very curious. What kind of curse? Something ancestral or more recent? He looks me up and down, taking in my face, my eyes, and finally my hands. It's your hands, isn't it? I wait until I'm certain my voice will remain steady before answering. My touch is dangerous. It changes people, hurts them. Before I've even finished, Leander begins taking his glove off. He tugs his left hand free and flexes his fingers. Well, let's see it. He offers me his hand, and a prismatic flash of magic ripples across his palm, but I'm already shrinking backwards. I can't. I don't care how confident Leander is. I can't bring myself to hurt him, to see his kind face twist into a mask of madness. Believe me, this isn't an ordinary curse. I'll be fine. Perhaps where you came from, your affliction was strange and one of a kind. But spend a year in the city, and you'll see 1,000 curses and thrice as many cures. Do you really think Curse would send you here if I couldn't handle it? How should I know? I only met him today. I'm as good as any mage in the cenobium. Better even. If they can help, so can I. You don't know what you're asking me. I'm asking you to trust me. I look from Leander's outstretched hand to his confident smile. Then, with a short breath, I begin unwinding the bandages from my hand. Fine. But if you lose control, don't say I didn't warn you. You can tie me up first if that makes you feel— Oh my fucking god. As kinky as that sounds and as appealing as that sounds, this is not the time to be talking about bondage, good sir. And you're blushing. Stop it. Go away. With each joint I expose, I grow more and more certain that this is a terrible idea. Ready when you are. He's bothered by the way my hand looks. He doesn't show it. My fingers hover shakily over his palm. 3, 2, 1. I tap his palm once, and quickly as possible. It's barely more than a brush, but that's all it ever takes. When I look at his face, expecting to see the worst, Leander only grins. see? It can't be. It's time when I reach out to touch Leander's palm again. He catches my wrist before I can pull away. I told you. There's really nothing to worry about. He trails off and my thumb brushes the soft skin of his inner wrist. I search Leander's face for traces of madness, but his eyes remain a clear, soft green. Color rises in his cheeks, and he remains still except for the subtle bobbing of his throat. Neither of us speak as I trace the contour of Leander's palm, lost in an awareness I wasn't prepared for. I've been with other people, kissed them, been embraced by them, and more. But not like this. My fingers, long deprived by years of bandaging, pick up every single detail. The grooves of his palm, the smooth shell of his nails, the pulse. For as long as I've lived, I've never been able to hold someone's hand, not without dire consequences. I never realized what I was missing until this moment. While Leander's pulse is steady, mine is hammering as fear gives way to excitement. Fuck it. If he allows it, if he pushes me away, fine. If he allows it. My hand glides over Leander's wrist and up his forearm, where smooth skin abruptly gives way to the raised scar by the edge of his sleeve. It matches the one that runs from his collar to his cheekbone. Could it be the same wound? I glance at Leander's face, and his lips part as he considers his words before speaking. Am I the first person you've been able to touch like this? My hand goes still on his arm. So far. I'll admit, your touch does make it somewhat difficult to stay level-headed, but not due to your power. God, you son of a bitch. He takes my hand. His soft green eyes flick to mine before he turns it to inspect it, the gold fissures crisscrossing my knuckle. Look, we match. He points a golden pin on his coat collar, and I give him a small smile. Fuck, Yumi, we may have to fight. Yumi, we may have to fight. I like Karas, but I like Leander. Why? Do you want to know why I like Leander? Not just because he's a charming fuck. I love charming fuck like him. I love charming fuck like him. He has the essence of what could be a yandere. Like a very possessive part. Because let's be quite honest here. Just because he's a mage does not mean he's not being affected by whatever the hell curse I got. He might be affected, but he's just very, very, very powerful enough to hide it. So I'm willing to bet my curse is affecting him. It's just he has the magical essence to be able to combat it, but it's still going to affect him down the line. I'm willing to bet this motherfucker's a yandere. I'm willing to bet his red flag, he's a possessive yandere. I'm willing to bet. I will put down money on that. Either that or the madness is going to be a slow infection. Because he's too nice. That's the thing. Kuras seems very intelligent and very much like a majestic being, like an eldritch being. He's human. I can tell this guy's human because he's already flaunting abilities. Eldritch beings don't necessarily flaunt abilities that so easily. So I'm thinking that he is affected by this curse. And whatever madness is going to affect him, it's going to be more towards a possession or yandere tendency. That's what I'm thinking. I think down the line, I'll need to see more of him. Yeah, it's either he's a very good yandere who can hide this very fucking well. It's a slow infecting curse that will make him into a possessive yandere. Or if it's not working and he's just a charmer, I want to know what the red flag is. Because this motherfucker can't be this nice. He cannot be this good. He cannot be this clean. He cannot be this charming. There has to be something wrong with him. There has to be. I cannot believe a character to be this clean is not corrupted or, like, bashed in some sort of shadowy secret in some shape, fashion, form. Ain't no fucking way. Ain't no fucking way. But okay. I'll play along for now. I'll play along for now. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. He points at a golden pin on his coat collar, and I give him a small smile. I draw my hand back and take a steadying breath. My head feels as though it's stuffed with cotton. Habit alone guides me through the motions of rewrapping my hand, although my fingers tremble too much for the bandages to lie flat. I can't believe that worked. May I ask your name? I'm Mahali. You are right to hide this from me, Molly. That curse of yours, it's unlike anything I've ever dealt with, so you have been affected, or at least you know the effects of it. I can tell you're discreet, but you'd best not go showing that off to anyone else. I didn't plan on it. Are you staying in Lowtown? I pause. Room and board is something I hadn't yet considered. I don't know. Let's get you properly settled in. Oh? The Wet Wick is noticeably quieter. Without their leader, most of the bloodhounds have dispersed, or in a few cases fallen asleep beside their drinks. Got any rooms left, or did my lot grab them all to sleep it off? The bartender, who I now realize doubles as an innkeeper, slides a key onto the counter. You know I always keep the corner room open for your escapades. I'm sorry? Leander's laugh sounds slightly strained. And I always appreciate it, but you're mistaken. Just from my friend Mahali. Escapades, sir? Sir. Are you a horny fuck? Are you a horn dog? Is that was I completely wrong about you? You're not a yandere, you're just a horny bastard? I'll happily take the L if that's correct. I'll happily take an L if that's the issue. I'll take an L. I will take an L. Sure, stay as long as you like. You two have fun. Escapades, huh? Leander clears his throat, then holds the key out to me. But I hesitate. My corn purse barely holds enough for a day's worth of meals, let alone a room. How much do I owe you? Nothing. Bloodhound rates. My treat, since you shared your secret. Food, drink, a warm bed, anything you need. Carefully, I take the key from him. It's small, but weighs heavy in my palm. I never expected to have a warm bed in Iridia, let alone free meals. Thank you. Go explore, Molly. You'll find many roads in Iridia, each leading you to different answers. If you need a reprieve from what haunts you, come find me. Just be careful. I nod, taking one last look at the gleaming bronze key before tucking it into the pocket of my cloak for safekeeping. Leander gives me one last friendly wave before I depart. Okay. Don't you often take L's? I do! The air clings sodden and heavy. Without the morning crowd, the sunless streets look barren and bleak. Even the peddlers are long gone. Only a pair of crows remain quibbling over stale crusts in the gutter. I feel a ridiculous pang of envy. At least I've got a reason to fight. I've never felt so lost. Karas and Leander both made it clear that the cenobium can't be trusted, but I came so far, endured so much. I need to see the cenobium for myself, if only to satisfy my curiosity. I should have asked someone at the bar for directions before leaving. I'm about to turn back when a shadow passes over me. Cloud, I think, until a puff of hot breath tickles down the back of my neck. The shadow runs down the street in the rivulets. Formless, dark, spreads like ink into blotted shapes. Still claws stretch. A muzzle splits open to reveal long, jagged teeth. A growl rumbles so low and deep. I feel it. I want to run, to scream. I feel trapped, as though the slightest movement or a single breath will snap the jaws around me shut. No. I won't let it end like this. If I'm going to die, I want to see what got me first. I steal myself in turn. Shadow vanishes as quickly as it came. I'm left standing in the middle of the street, alone except for a figure reclining in the shade of the nearby. Oh! A monster. That much is clear from a glance. One that could nearly be mistaken for human, were it not for the tufted ears, a tail curled around his ankle, and a collar. On the dusk pink eyes with pupils that sharpen like needles when they fall on me. Our eyes meet and the monster uncrosses his long legs. His hair gleams a shade of red that reminds me unsettlingly of blood, where it curls around his collared throat. Jumpy, aren't you? His tone is so light and carefree that I glance over my shoulder to make sure he's speaking to me. When I look back, the stranger props his chin onto his knuckles and regards me with an inscrutable little smile. Didn't you see that shadow just now? It was massive, moved like a beast. Even as I speak, I'm aware of how ridiculous I must sound, but the stranger's smile doesn't falter. The only beasts I've seen are the Wick's drooling regulars, though this did catch my eye. That's my key, you motherfucker! With a flourish of his hand, my in-room key appears dangling from his finger. It turns on its chain, glittering as it catches the light. My hands fly to my cloak's pockets, and sure enough, find them flat. He crooks his finger, beckoning. I've already taken 2 steps forward before some stifled instinct stops me. Something feels wrong. I'm on the edge, thrumming with so much adrenaline that the stranger's shadow flickers at the edge of my vision. I always attract the worst kind of attention, but I can't get rattled now. Where did you find it? How did you even find it? The key, I mean? What can I say? I'm a sucker for shiny things. He smiles wide enough to reveal pointed canines. I saw you drop it. You really should be more careful. A city like this, someone might take advantage. A bald-faced lie said without a hint of irony. I can't figure out how he picked my pockets under my nose, but I'm certain he took my key, and I need it back. I approach the man, careful to keep an arm's length away. He doesn't look dangerous, but the most deadly ones never do. The stranger's chain softly clinks to the tilt of his head. His ears flick. Keeping your distance? I'd be stupid to trust you. You think I stole your dinky little key? From all the way over here? He gives an exaggerated sigh. I'm good with my hands, but not that good. Do I really look like a common thief to you? Would you like me to answer that question? Would you like me to answer that, like, with my full chest? Or would you wish for me to tell a lie to stroke your ego? He's got me there. The sheer fabric of his sleeves alone would be too expensive for most street thieves. Hell, his shoes look like they cost more than I spent traveling here. And then there's the shop behind him. No matter the city, parted pink curtains only ever mean one thing. I'm not looking to buy, and I doubt I could afford your services anyway. Oh, so you're a sex worker! Okay, cool. Luckily for you, I don't charge. The man runs the tip of his tongue over a fang. And for the first time since I stepped into that shadow, I feel something other than dread. My face grows hot. That's not what I meant! I'm flattered, really. Were sex my trade, I might make an exception for you. How about half off for a handy? Or if you could just hand over my key? Ask nicely, and I might even let you tug my tail. Just throw it here. So some spindly little street urchin can snatch it and run? He raises my key and tilts his head so he can watch it dangle back and forth. I suppose I could just claim your room for myself. Not that I'd be caught dead slumming in the Wick for the rest of those slack-jawed imbeciles. You're obviously not from around here, so tell me, traveler, what misfortune brought you to this wretched place? His voice practically drips with derision. I'm not telling you anything. What could have possibly drawn you to this dreary little pig pen, I wonder? That depends on what keeps you here in this dreary little pig pen, sir. He listlessly watches the arc of my key swinging around his finger. The weather's shit, the food's dreck, and there's entirely too many monsters for a human to feel safe. Unless... Dagger eyes flick towards me. They gleam with amusement. Unless you're just dying to consort with monsters. By now, my embarrassment has worn away, leaving simmering impatience in its place. If this is a shakedown, it's the most frustrating one I've ever heard of. Ooh. You're a problem. You're a problem. You're a problem. You're a problem. I'm good. I'm good, sir. I'm good. You're a charmer, absolutely. But I need less annoying charm, and I need more serving charm. Thank you. Are you done? Or do you plan on flirting with me until night falls? He touches his chest in a mock affront. You wound me. How could you be so immune to my charms? You're about as charming as an ox and half as subtle. I suggest you go practice your seduction on someone interesting. That earns me a burst of breathy laughter. How about you teach me the ropes? Show me a thing or two. The more he flirts, the more convinced I become that this is some kind of trap. No matter how innocent monsters look, they always have tricks up their sleeve. And something tells me that this one's more dangerous than he lets on. Even if he has a lovely laugh. I don't know what you want or why you're messing with me. But I'm not coming any closer until I know you aren't going to attack or bite. I won't bite hard unless you beg me. No matter what I say, he finds a way to twist my words into innuendo. Even when I'm silent, he goes on as though we're having a conversation, not a standoff. Do you like dancing? There's a traveling troupe performing in Hightown tonight. Their lutist is utterly exquisite. Truly a performance to die for. There's life in this dreadful place, if you know where to look. You sound like you know the city well. The man's gaze flickers from me to the king dangling from his finger. Naturally. This dump was a little more than a miserable little smear when I first arrived. High town, low town, I know Iridia like the back of my hand. How about the cenobium? You know where that is? His smile vanishes. Surely you've seen it. It's that absurdly large tower looming over the rest. It's a little hard to miss. He must mean the spire I noticed when I first caught sight of Iridia. The cenobium's overrated. Forget about it. I can show you things those stuffy boars with their limp dick tower couldn't even dream of. I've already got plans. Oh, have you some pressing matters at the cenobium? Lunch dates with librarians, tea time with the most esteemed abbess. That's my business. What's it matter to you? I square my shoulders and the amusement bleeds out of him. Your loss. The stranger, finally bored of his tedious game, extends his arm towards me. The key rests on his palm, neatly dividing skin and leather. When he makes no other move, I reach for the key, but as soon as my fingers graze over smooth brass, his hand springs shut around my elbow. Hey! He yanks me down and I stagger, my soul slipping on the steps. For a sick moment, I fear my bandages will unravel under his touch, but he's careful not to disturb them even as his fingers dig into my arm. I knew I smelled blood. You reek of death and the road. And that fucking doctor. His voice, once silken, lowers to a smoky growl. The shadows around him seethe and boil as he pulls me closer. It's something else. He murmurs against my throat, nose grazing my jaw. Let go! I try to twist away, but he doesn't budge. His breath trails down my neck, sending a thrill of dread through me. But just when I fear he'll bite, he takes a deep whiff instead. His wide, flat eyes gleam with naked hunger as he gazes up at me. Not quite human, not quite monster. Seems we're both. There! Who is that? Stranger's ears flatten and he releases me with a short breath. I yank my arm back, massaging it where his grip left grooves in the bandages. The stranger twists around to watch a woman duck out from the curtains behind him. Her pressed uniform marks her as a cleric of the cenobium. Oh, it was a woman. I apologize. I leave you for what? 5 minutes and you're making trouble again? Will you quit harassing the tourists? Stranger, Veer, I take it, rolls his eyes and flashes the cleric a withering smile. So suspicious. Can't you see this is a friend of mine? A natural liar. He grins at me and his tail swishes minutely. The woman presses her lips at me, clearly unconvinced. I open my mouth to correct him, but Veer cuts in. I was graciously offering my dear friend some free advice. Though his voice remains light and cheerful, his expression darkens. Danger is drawn to you like a moth to a flame. It will always find you, given time. The woman clucks her tongue as though she's heard this recital 102 times. Word of advice, don't take free advice from lazy foxes lounging in the streets. This crook would sell water to a drowning man for the sheer enjoyment of it. She shrugs off a wilting look from Veer. Oh, please. Any friend of yours knows it's true. Now hold still. Veer rises gracefully at her approach. He pushes his hair aside so it drapes over one shoulder, exposing a long line of his neck. And suddenly it dawns on me that the jingling I heard earlier wasn't coming from the harness attached to his collar, but a leash. A heavy iron chain wound around a hitching post and padlocked to the back of his collar. Veer posed deliberately to hide his leash from me. The woman produces a key-ring from her pocket. She rifles through a dozen identical keys before selecting one and slotting it into the lock. Come on! Unless you're friends, tagging along our merry little soulless hunt. They're hunting for solace inside the city? Words momentarily fail me. The woman regards me with a polite, if tight, smile before marching down the stairs. Veer lingers. He stretches his arms over his head with a yawn, and I try not to stare at the way his stomach flattens as he arches his back. Your little secret's safe with me. Try not to get yourself killed. Veer hops off the stoop and bounds after the woman. His tail sways merrily, as though he hadn't just lied and threatened me. Did you try that thing I mentioned? The Leviathan knot? The one where you take 3 fingers and— Actually, don't tell me. Knowing you, it's disgusting. Veer's airy laughter echoes down the street. It's only after he and the cleric have vanished from sight that I realize I'm still missing something. Wait! Reflexively, I shove my hands into my pockets and find it. Room key. I pull it out of my pocket and raise it to the light to be sure. A nagging feeling distracts my relief. I don't know what Veer's game was or what he wanted from me. All I know for certain was that Cenobium saw fit to leash him, a fate I could share, if that's what his vague warning went. I let my eyes drift skyward, pushing the lanterns gently, swaying in the breeze, to the cenobium faintly visible through the haze. Just one glimpse is all I need, and then I could put this all behind me. This time, the key goes into my coin purse for safekeeping. Fair enough point. Good idea. It's easy enough to follow the sluggish river that splits Iridia in two. A colossal bridge arches over the dark water below. I cross as quickly as I can, climbing ever uphill towards a distant tower. Is Veer a love interest? It seems so. There's 5 love interests. I'm assuming he's one of them. Hours later, legs aching, sweat beading on my forehead, I finally find what I was searching for. The cenobium of the luminous void. It stands at the highest point of Iridia, surrounded by cold white walls. Well-dressed people stroll down the walkways, paying no attention to the massive tower in their midst. I'm the only one standing before the gates. I crane my neck up and up, until the top of the cenobium tower disappears into the clouds overhead. My stomach gives an uneasy lurch. Though far grander than the humble shrine of my youth, the cenobium gives the same impression of being a gilded birdcage. Knocking seems like a terrible idea, but I don't see any other way of making my presence known. I'm halfway up the steps when something moves in my peripheral vision. A shadowy figure crouches beneath one of the white walls. They reach out and tug on a vine, as if testing its strength. Oi, you there! The shadow vanishes as quickly as I spotted it, and a gaunt-faced man in crisp charcoal uniform marches up the steps toward me. Oh, another tourist. Get out here once you're done gawking. A dismissive wave accompanies his equally dismissive words, and he turns on his heel without even waiting for an answer from me. I look back at where I saw the intruder, but there's nothing. Just the leaves blowing gently in the cool breeze. Huh. Okay. Interesting. I step away from the gates, hopelessness washing over me. Hello. A whisper. So close I could feel the warm brush of breath on my skin. I instinctively jerk away, but there's no one beside me. Halfway down the staircase, I spot a woman swaying in the breeze. She's gaunt as a rail, her blouse moth-eaten. I'm unable to take my eyes off of her. Not because of the way she smiles a little too widely, or the way her tousled braids look unbrushed for days, but because her eyes shine a vibrant, unnatural crimson. I'm both entranced and unsettled by their subtle glow.
These days, you need a miracle to get in there.
I'm unsure how to respond, or even if I should. Her gaze is uncomfortably fixed on me, heavy as lead. Not a word. After the experience I've just had, I'm not too keen on indulging strangers with small talk. Despite my silence, she maintains her unflinching stare and smile.
Lucky for you. I have miracles for free.
Whatever she's selling, I'm not interested. My words come out in a tired breath. No thanks. Oh, you're rapidly approaching my location. There's nothing I can do but pray? Okay. Hi. Mwah. Hi. Mwah. Mwah.
Fuck anybody yet?
There's two. I'm interested in two parties right now. One is Karas, who is a doctor. He's very interesting. Like I need to see more of him before I determine how I feel about him. Leander, though, is very, very charming and a good one. But he's like a walking green that is hiding a red flag. I need to know if he's either like if I'm suspecting his red flag is that he's a yandere. But I could be wrong and he just might be a horny bastard. Which, you know what? I'll take an L. If that is the case, I'll take it. Mwah. No thanks. I start down the stairs, but she abruptly steps into my path. She turns her back to me, and before I can react, she slips her fingers under the lacing of her collar, stripping out of her blouse in broad daylight. What do you do? As worn fabric unveils bare skin, my panic is smothered by cold horror. A misshapen, sunken scar carves into the woman's body. Oh. Pitted, gnarled skin snakes down her shoulders, blooming from a gaping hole in the back of her neck. A shuddering breath escapes me. Oh, fuck. Whatever disease this woman had ate away at her from the inside out. How is she able to move or breathe? It's impossible. She shouldn't be alive, yet...
The power to cure anything can be yours too. The power of the sea spring.
The woman slides back into her blouse and deftly laces it up.
If I've caught your interest, then follow me. It's only a short walk away.
Without another glance, she leisurely strolls down the cenobium stairs, loose braids bobbing behind her. The edge of her scar peeks out from under her collar. I stand there, wordless, until I manage to regain my bearings. It's a twisted miracle, but a miracle nonetheless. This could be the stupidest decision in my life, but what choice do I have? I take a look at the cenobium and I follow her, apparently. We descend from the higher streets, leaving behind their gilded decadence as we cross the river. The wet, derelict districts feel more familiar to me. But the crimson-eyed woman takes me farther, then farther still, until I'm met with an all-too-familiar sight. My gut lurches as I face the open horizon. The city's outskirts are hardly recognizable in daylight, and probably safer for it. But venturing beyond Iridia's walls is a gamble I wasn't prepared to take so soon.
Keep going straight, and the sea spring will reveal itself to you.
I bark out a bitter laugh, loud and involuntary. This is a setup. This has to be a setup. As soon as I step out there, some friends of yours will ambush and mug me.
If I wanted something from you, I would already have it.
She says it so lightly, I almost believe her, even if she looks as physically capable as a toothpick.
You're as safe inside the city as outside of it. Truthfully, the territory before you is the safest of all.
What do you mean, territory?
This region belongs to Ice. Most people know him as a gang leader, but he's much more than that.
I squint against the empty wastelands. Only a fool or someone with nothing to lose would leave the city. Apparently I am both. But if this sea spring cured her, I need to see what it can do for me. I set off into the wastes. Over my shoulder, the woman calls for me.
Good luck, Molly! I hope we meet again.
My heart pounds with each step I take from civilization. It doesn't make me take long to realize it's not the only heartbeat I hear. Like a nagging thought at the back of my mind, I can sense another pulse thrumming through the earth beneath my feet. I felt this presence before, when I first stepped out of Karas's clinic. A living dread coursing beneath the city. Only this time, I'm getting much closer. For what seems like an eternity, I force each foot forward, one step, then another, until a realization hits me. I never told the woman my name. That's what I was like, you're really gonna listen to this woman? Something pierces the horizon ahead of me. A building, nestled into a tall cliffside, but so starkly out of place it might as well be a hallucination. It drips with extravagance and honeyed mahogany, an ornate jewel of architecture. A row of dark silhouettes stand out on the horizon. Trees, I think, until I'm close enough to realize that what I mistook for branches were spikes and jutting tendrils. Soulless. Several of them watching in the distance like statues. I don't think I just run. Exploding into a messy sprint, I push my legs as fast as they'll take me towards that decorating building. Flashes of last light chase me. The gushes of blood and screams of death. The smell of burning flesh and sour bile. I can't go through that again. I won't. The next thing I know, I'm dashing up wooden stairs and crashing through towering double doors. I gasp for air. My lungs burning from exertion. I'm desperate to be safe, but I'm processing my surroundings. It's more hellscape than sanctuary. Or this looks like just a deeply ornate Asian style shrine. I don't know, but this seems more Asian style than Western style. Blood flows all around me, overwhelming my vision with a lurid, unholy red. Instinctively, my hand leaps to my mouth, but the rotten stench of blood never comes. Instead, a smoky scent hangs in the air, sharp, spiced. I swallow thickly, convincing myself that it's not as gruesome as it appears. This has to be the sea spring, the place that grants miracles. Pulling my eyes away from the pool, I take in the rest of my environment. Tall pillars flank me, blanketed in written notes. Seating pillows scatter the floor. A rustic kettle sits nearby. Someone must live here, despite how eerily empty it is. You don't call out like that. You look around. I approach the paper-covered pillars. Maybe something here can tell me more. I reach for bottommost. I reach for a note at the lower end. It reads, "They watch me through the mirrors. They won't stop staring. They know what I did, but they won't have me. I'm safe now. Safe. Safe. Vos disporvus vos panza nivals vitis valpum." The writing deteriorates into an intelligible scrawl. Before I can ponder it further, a sharp chill runs down my spine. Someone is watching. I quickly set the note back, my eyes darting around the wooden deck, but still empty. Vacant. Finally, I look towards the sea spring. That stillness hides something deeper. Something wrong. Something it's watching. Hey! I spin around and come face to face with a pack of soulless. They chitter and growl, tendrils and spikes flaring threateningly, all different sizes and species, but all sharing one identical trait: glowing crimson eyes. I try to back away, but my heel teeters over the sea spring. I'm cornered. Watch your step. It's deeper than it looks. Voice again. At the sound of it, the soulless freeze, their snarls quieting. I search for the voice's source and find it above me, lounging in the rafters. Oh, hello. You look lost, little sparrow. His gaze is a violent crimson, one that sears through me, leaves me feeling raw and exposed. They're the same eyes I've seen over and over, first with the scarred woman, now with the soulless circling me, all bound by the sea spring's blood red. In the shroud of darkness behind him, shapes like massive tentacles twist and coil around the wooden beams. Souls' growls ring in my ears. They're not advancing, but that could change at any second. Panic rises in my throat as I struggle to track them. Hey! Eyes on me. My stomach rolls as I tear my eyes away from the soulless. Don't ignore someone who's talking to you. It's not polite. For a moment, anger knocks my fear aside. Who is this bastard? I'm kind of distracted by the soulless about to maul me. Only on my command. I love that we named him bastard. I scan the soulless again. They really aren't attacking. Posturing more than anything else. You tamed them? Power of the sea spring. They're hungry, so they might bite. You could give me a reason to stop them. How about I didn't do anything wrong? Trespassing. And that's punishable by death? He gives a non-committal shrug. Expecting mercy was your first mistake. My voice stops in my throat. The man's terse coolness is both infuriating and terrifying. I rack my way for a way to defuse the situation. I need help. Okay, fine. I need help. I thought the sea spring could cure me somehow. My voice wavers pathetically. Honesty has never been my strong suit. He cants his head to the side, appraising me, but doesn't respond. I fidget nervously. I'm telling you, I came for help. Are you listening? Your hands. Alarm jolts through me. I had my hands under my cloak. Show me. Why? Won't ask twice. With a sharp huff, I reluctantly hold out my bandaged hands. Are you getting off on this? Unwrap them. Heat rushes to my face and fire to my tongue. I should give peace of my mind, but not when his soulless are one command from ripping me to shreds. Yet no matter how much I will myself to move, my body is frozen in place. I stand there for a long, agonizing minute. My hands are trembling as I finally raise them. I know the skin beneath the wrappings all too well. Hideous, unnatural flesh I've grown to despise. I grip the edge of the bandages. Stop! With a weary sigh, the man slides off the beam and lands with a thud that shakes the panels underfoot. He's a monster, with an imposing figure that towers over me. Couldn't tell how tall he was before, but he's big. Illuminated by lantern light, his features are stronger, sharper. Sam! Subtle clinks of metal accompanying each of his footsteps. The closer he gets to me, the faster my heart hitches. What does he want? Is he going to kill me? I step backwards and find nothing to set my foot on. I forgot my back was in the sea spring! I fall right before a warm hand catches my lower back. I'm hovering above the sea spring. Scent of sweat and leather enveloping. Blazing crimson eyes bolt into mine. Told you to watch your step. I'm too stunned to mutter a response. Like I weigh nothing, he guides me back to solid ground and steps back. Following a subtle gesture from his fingers, the soulless around us disperse and relax. The shift in their demeanor is so abrupt it gives me whiplash. The enormous tentacles are no longer in the rafters, though I now doubt I ever saw them at all. A Cthulhu monster. A Cthulhu Oni. Either way, I exhale a breath of relief. Thanks. As focused on me as he was before, the monster pays no attention to me now. He kicks some seating pillows out of the walkways, checks the contents of a kettle with a scowl. The sudden disregard is almost insulting. So, that's it? I'm not a threat anymore? Never were one. Then why'd you threaten me? People get honest when they're afraid. In other words, he was messing with me. I drag a hand up. Exhausted by the fact that this is the second time a monster has provoked me today. You're ice, aren't you? Depends who's asking. One of your friends told me this was your territory. She also said you were a gang leader. But there's no one else here. I thought there'd be more people. Ice picks up the kettle and walks to the edge of the sea spring, then dumps out the contents into the endless red. Gang took a walk. His pleasant smile stretches across his face, ear to ear. Then, in an instant, it drops. I get the sense I shouldn't ask about his gang again. You said you came here for help. Depends. Can the sea spring cure a curse? Probably. You mean you don't know? Nope. He shakes out the empty kettle and starts collecting stray cups, tidying up. My frustration builds. I narrow my eyes at him with a questioning glare. When he notices, he returns it with an amused smirk. Are you being irritating on purpose? Listen, Sparrow. Sea spring can cure anything. Nothing's stopping you from trying it yourself. What do I have to do? Drink. I have to drink from the sea spring. My eyes glide to the blood-like pool beside us. The idea of ingesting the strange liquid makes my guts churn. Is there a price? Always. Ice taps his temple with a finger. You lose it a little bit. That's it? Might have already beaten it to the punch. My humor earns me an amused, fanged grin. This is a little different. When you drink from the sea spring, you forget who you are. Your mind combines with everyone who drank before. Humans, monsters, soulless. One big happy family in you. My blood runs cold. I've heard of these before. Group minds. My attendants used to tell me that my power granted people access to a higher plane of understanding. A group mind of my own making. All lies. But something tells me this is real. Even if one thing doesn't add up. Your eyes are red too, but you obviously haven't forgotten who you are. Before I can finish my sentence, Ice strides past me towards the entrance. Time's up, let's finish this later. Wait, already? You barely told me anything! Came out on a bad day. I've got somewhere to be. There's still so many questions burning on the tip of my tongue, but my frustration spills out before any of them. I was told to come here for help, but instead I get threatened and kicked out. You're joking, right? Watch your tone. I'm nice, but you don't want to ruin the host's mood. My skin prickles. The feeling of being watched washes over me again. My eyes dart back over to the sea. A lone ripple dances on the quiet surface. I take Ice's advice and clamp my mouth shut. Ice approaches nearby Solus, a lanky dog-like one with 6 legs and a crown of endless tendrils. A crown of tendrils. Several sets of crimson eyes adorn its sides. Its forked tail wags rapidly as Ice squats beside it. He runs his fingers through the tendrils, scratching its chin and pats his head. A gentle smile plays across Ice's lips. The affection he holds for the soulless is painfully clear. I dip my eyes away, my stomach fluttering at the sight. It's getting dark out, so this pretty girl will guide you back. Following a short whistle from Ice's lips, it trots over to the entrance obediently, tail swaying. I watch the soulless warily. Pretty is not a word I would use to describe it, and the idea of it protecting me sounds absurd. If I decide to drink, how should I find you? Find someone with eyes like mine. They'll point you in the right direction. But think it over. Once you drink, you can't go back. It's a lot to process, but I give a small nod. At least I know I have another option for a cure, as disturbing as it may be. I follow the soulless at a measured distance and watch it nudge the giant doors open with ease. When I'm about to cross the threshold, I sneak one last glance behind me. My heart skips when I meet Ice's eyes. I'm about to snap my head away, but he just flashes me an easy smile. Till next time, Sparrow. I'll buy you a drink for scared. I don't trust myself to do anything but respond with another curt nod. Outside, more crimson-eyed soulless scuttle about. It's hard to believe it's the same threatening pack from before. They chase each other in circles, roll around the bog's mud. They pay no attention to me as the dog-like one escorts me away. It's an uneventful trip. Sometimes the soulless looks over its shoulder at me to make sure I'm still following along. Dusk darkens the sky by the time we reach the city. I can't sense that massive heartbeat anymore. Maybe it was all in my head. The soulless sits and looks at me expectantly with familiar crimson eyes. Pet? The soulless? As nervous as I am, I carefully glide my fingers through the soulless's tendrils and scratch beneath its chin, just like Ice had. It pushes into my palm in response, rumbling with a sound akin to a purr. The vibrations are soothing, almost healing my. When it's satisfied, the soulless spins around and scampers back in the direction we came, vanishing into the darkness. It's barely my first day in Iridia, and I've already encountered so many things I thought were impossible. Tame soulless being one of them. My head spins. Maybe I should call it a day. Nightfall creeps across the streets of Iridia. The city, labyrinthine even in daytime, has become a warren of treacherous alleyways. The streets are completely deserted. If I hadn't been here earlier, I would have thought this part of the city completely abandoned. I make my way to the winding streets, doing my best to keep my bearing towards the wet wick. My steps slow when I hear rustling in the dark. I strain my ears, but everything is still. Is the silence playing tricks on me? Something's wrong. Fine hairs on the back of my neck prickle, a frisson of discomfort running down my spine. Something is wrong. My eyes dart from one side of the street to the other, searching for movement, but the shadows are as deep and dark as pools of ink, and I see nothing. I can't stay here. I need to reach a busier part of the city. Drawing my cloak tighter around my body, I hurry on my way. Though I keep my eyes sharp and listen intently, there's only the sound of my own footsteps. As the moments pass and nothing happens, I begin to wonder. Maybe I really did imagine that noise? I turn the next corner and my thoughts become screeching to a halt. My head spins. The world blurring as adrenaline rushes through my veins. Only one thing is clear amidst the haze. The soulless that attacked the caravan. It's crouched over a dark, indistinct shape. Body. Garland of intestines spills from pallid flesh. Blood grouts the cobblestones. For mercy, the soulless is too distracted by its meal to have noticed me. My feet feel as heavy as stones. But I can't just stand here. Holding my breath, I take a step backwards. When the wet, slurping sounds don't abate, another. And another. a shard of glass under my... The world seems to slow to a crawl as the soulless raises its head, blood dripping from its tendrils. Every single one of its bulging eyes fixed unblinking on me. It's really here. It's come back for me. Run. I'm off like a shot, running for my life through the darkened streets. Behind me, a piercing bay spills the silence, and heavy footfalls pound after me. My heart thunders in my chest. I take turns at random, trying to lose it in the maze of streets, but I can't seem to shake it. I can hear its breathing now, a wet, fluttering rasp growing closer and closer. The same claws that severed my arm swipe out. I duck, saved by pure reflex, and skid around a corner. I take 3 remaining strides before the bottom drops off of my stomach. A wall twice as high as me bars my way. A dead end. When I turn around, the soulless looms in the entry to the alleyway. It's no longer running, it doesn't have to. As it prowls closer, my thoughts race. Some of the buildings lining the streets are lit. There must be people inside. It's a long shot, but... Get to the nearest door. I whirl, grabbing the handle of the closest door. It turns completely, and the hinge is creaking as I push, and I feel a flash of hope before a weight hits the door from the other side and it slams shut. The clink of a lock turning is grimly final. In this wretched world, few people will stick their neck out to help their own flesh and blood. Never mind a stranger. The soulless gives a rasping hiss. It's the only warning I get before it lunges at me with a flash of claws. I hurl myself to the side, but the slick cobblestones betray me. I fall, splaying over the rough stone. As the soulless looms over me, I scramble away from it until my back hits the wall. There's nowhere left to go. It descends on me before the kill. But the impact never comes. I wearily crack one eye open, then another. Not sure whether I should believe what I'm seeing. A hooded figure crouches in front of me, one blood-stained hand outstretched. Oh! Moonlight silvers the edge of their stiletto knife. Their face and hands are splattered with blood. And the soulless. My eyes dart past my unexpected rescuer, to the misshapen form behind them. The soulless's many eyes, once restless and vibrant, now look dull and waxy. A red pool spreads slowly from under its body. Numb with shock, I can't help but stare. It's dead. After all the people it's killed. After nearly killing me twice. I can hardly believe it. Well, I gingerly take the offered hand. Stranger gaze dips to my bandages. Pale lips part, on the brink of a question, and close again. With the strength belying their slight frame, they pull me to my feet. Something about them is strange. Unlike any human or monster I've ever met. I can't quite place my finger on why. As soon as I am on my own 2 feet again, they pull away from me and start wiping the blood from their face and hands. Stay there. They turn away from me stiffly, leaning over the soulless's gangly body. With their back towards me, I realize I saw their hooded silhouette at the cenobium. They saved me. I shouldn't have had to. Their harsh response takes me aback. Before I can formulate a response, they continue. What are you thinking, traveling alone at night? This is far from the worst thing haunting Lowtown. I can't make heads or tails of them. First they save me, now they scold me? Lesson learned. I could do without the lecture, though. To my surprise, they break eye contact. Their attention guides back to the soulless corpse. They examine it with inscrutable expression. I clear my throat to fill the silence. I'm Mahali. Min. Suddenly, Min tenses. Their blade flashes as they drive into the back of the soulless's neck. The soulless thrashes once, letting out a rattling hiss as the air leaves its lungs. Min leans on the blade, diving it deeper and deeper, until there's a sickening crunch, and the creature goes limp. My heart thuds in my chest. I must have been clinging to life by a thread. Min straightens up, withdrawing their blade in a single smooth motion. Better to put wretched things like that out of their misery. They calmly clean the blood off their knife. I swallow, my eyes still glued to the cooling corpse. Why is a soulless inside the city? Min looks at me, eyes searching, before realization dawns. You're new here. There's no walls around the city. Soulless can come and go as they please, unless someone is contracted to stop them. The cenobium's patrols don't bother to protect Lowtown. Not anymore. Let me guess, you're not a fan of the cenobium? I wouldn't go that far. Their brow abruptly furrows, and they sheathe their knife, motioning for me to follow them. It's not safe here. The vultures can smell death. I'm not quite sure what they mean, but I don't want to stay lost in the city. I trail behind them as they stride down the street. If it's so dangerous, why are you helping me? I came for the bounty on that soulless, and you were in my way. Not killing you isn't the same as helping you. Don't count on being so lucky again, or you'll be dead by sunrise. Your answer is stingingly harsh. I hold my hands up, trying to forestall any more snippy comments. Alright, I get it. I'd love to get out of your way. But I'm sort of lost. I just need directions back to my lodgings. What makes you think I'll help you? You've already helped me once tonight, why not a second time? That seems to catch them off guard. Their brow knits and they look away, scowling. How troublesome. Mahali? Chris! I turn, surprised at the voice. Chris walks down the street towards us. His white and gold clothing is pristine, despite the grime of the city. Hello, Min. I see that soulless was your work. Min shrugs. There's a familiarity to the way they regard each other. You know them, Chris? Min is a freelancer who has done a few errands for me. They are quite reliable. Unreliable freelancers don't eat. Mahali needs to get back to wherever she's staying, before she wanders into the jaw of another soulless. It is late. Were you able to find a place to stay, Mahali? I'm staying at the Wet Wick. Both their faces fall. I see. Would you like a guide? It might be more preferable to wandering about the alleys. That would be nice. Min clicks their tongue and sighs, sounding mildly put out. Going to the Amaryllis district? That gaudy cesspit? Come, this way. Despite Min's clear distaste, when Karas leads me down the street, they keep pace with us. Catching my curious glance, Min's eyes narrow. It's not safe this late. I don't care about you, but Karas is the only doctor worth a damn in this place. Are you like this with everyone? The deadpan look Min gives me is answer enough. I catch Karas hiding a slight smile. I suppress a sigh and resign myself to have a grumpy shadow all the way back to the Wet Wick. The route Karas takes is completely different from my slow meandering early this morning. In no time at all, he cuts through darkened streets and twisting alleys. It seems like half the city has poured into the Amaryllis district's colorful streets. Laughter, clinking glasses, and music assault my ears from every direction. Yet the most noise still comes to the Wet Wick. Its doors hang wide open, lanterns lit. Here we are. He moves towards the door, and Min lets out an audible huff. Don't tell me you're going in. I have some quick business with Leander. Ugh, fine. He still owes me for yesterday's work. They drag their feet, reluctantly trailing me into the tavern. Okay. Lots and lots of hatred and business here. As soon as the doors open, a wave of sticky heat rolls over me. In the hours since I left, the wick has grown suffocatingly crowded. Karas stands out, easily a head taller than most. Even so, I'd nearly lose sight of him in the sea of warm, swarming bodies. Pardon me. The crowd parts as though answering his request. Karas glances over his shoulder at Min and me before gliding through. How can anyone breathe in here? Min follows Karas at a clipped pace. Leander is right where I left him, although he's traded places with the bartender. He holds a pair of shot glasses filled to the brim with luminous green liquid. Absinthe? And now for the finishing touch. A flash of magic paints the glasses white with frost. You're never gonna get something these. Leander slides the glasses across the bar, and I get my third and fourth shocks of the evening in rapid succession. Ice leans against the bar, an elbow propped up on the counter. He catches the glasses and lifts one to the light before turning it upside down. The contents, magically congealed, stay firmly in place. You're supposed to make drinks, pretty boy. Don't tell me you're wasted already. Veer, perched on the bar's counter besides Ice, takes a single look at the shot glass and shakes his head. What have we here? A bucket full of boogers? Leander's nose treasure? You've eaten worse. Veer's lips twitch and his ears flatten while Ice offers him a glass. He turns his cheek with a sniff, and Ice just snickers. Coward. Don't tell me you're actually... In one fluid motion, Ice throws back his head and downs the shot. Drinking that. A dark look crosses Ice's face. It's chewy. Chewy? Wait, let me try again. Behind me, Min grumbles. I told you this place was a nest of degenerates. If it isn't Karas and Min! At the sound of Leander's voice, Min's pale eyes grow wide. They look ready to bolt when Karas sets a hand on their shoulder. I promise this will not take long. Min's eyes dart from Karas's hand to his face, then soften. Fine. You first. When they step forward, I linger behind, struck by a sudden revelation. All of the people I've met today know each other. Good evening, Leander. Ice. Another drinking competition, I presume? Oh, is it evening already? I could have sworn it was earlier. Just some friendly rivalry, Doctor. Nothing to be afraid of. Frost acknowledges Leander and Ice with the slightest nod, ignoring Veer entirely. Not that Veer seems to mind. He tilts his head, and an impish smile curves his lips when he spots Min looming silently behind Karas. I almost didn't see you there, Min. I'll give you your booster seat. Min pushes back their hood. They level Veer with a cool look. I thought Ice wasn't allowed to bring his pets in here. Veer's tail gives an angry twitch. Oh, a cutscene! Ooh, CG! At the first sign of an impending fight, Leander vaults clear over the counter. He slides between Ice and Karas. Now, let's try to keep the peace. It's not every day the esteemed doctor takes us up on a drink. His arm snakes around Karas's shoulders. You are finally taking me up on that drink, right, Karas? I'm afraid not. We were merely escorting Mahali back to her lodgings. Karas gestures in my direction and my stomach sinks. I reluctantly step into the light. As soon as he sees me, Leander's face brightens. Molly! It's been too long. Everyone, this is Molly. She is new to Iridia. I feel 5 pairs of eyes fixed onto me, and suddenly the bar feels suffocatingly small. My voice nearly catches in my throat. Hi, everyone. Again? Wait, you already met everyone? Ice and Veer level me with subtly amused expressions. Veer's tail gives a lazy wag. We did! Not that long ago either. Wait, we did. Not that long ago either. I'm starting to suspect she's stalking me. He looks far too pleased with himself when I roll my eyes. This calls for drinks! What does everyone want? In an instant, all eyes turn to Leander, freeing me from the burden of attention. I still can't believe they all know each other. Watching them talk amongst themselves feels surreal. But for the first time since I undertook this journey to Iridia, I feel a faint glimmer of hope. I know I was meant to meet them. A low, pleasant rumble of Leander's laughter pulls me from my restless thoughts. Ha! Well, color me surprised. You find friends fast, Molly. I wouldn't go that far. We're more like acquaintances. This demo, it seems long for a demo. Apparently the full game is going to be like 15 plus hours per route, so... A wise man once said that acquaintances are merely friends you haven't shared a drink with yet. A wise man? You said that. Here. Last week. I can hear Mim's lip curl with distaste from across the bar. Leander clears his throat and continues, unperturbed. Let's toast to Mahali's help. Gonna join in, Doctor? Ross politely declines with a wave of his hand. How about you, Mitt? How about you, Mitt? No. Are you? No. A resounding pop pierces the din of the bar. We all turn in the direction of the noise. Veer looks almost bashful as he accepts an overflowing flute from the bartender, poured from a bottle so old the label has been worn blank. They serve champagne here? Since when? Veer pauses in the middle of licking champagne from his fingers with a coy smile. You don't mind, do you? In a transformation as impressive as his magic trick, the concern on Leander's face vanishes. He laughs softly. No, be my guest. I know you've got expensive taste. Then he shoots the bartender a frantic look. Unbothered or uninterested in his company, Ice cants his head at me, a light smile on his lips. How about you, little sparrow? I did say I'd buy you a drink earlier. No, my treat. Ice regards Leander over the lip of his glass. In the dim light, the glint in his crimson eyes looks downright dangerous. What'll it be, Molly? I've had a weird day. I'll take that drink. I'll take you up on that drink, as long as it's not one of those green shots. Don't knock it till you try them. They taste better than they look. Somehow I doubt that, but I hold my tongue long enough for Leander to go behind the bar. He's lying, isn't he? When I glance at Ice, he only shrugs. Like I said, they were chewy. Probably poison, too. He considers his own drink, a tumbler of amber-colored whiskey. Leander's tried to kill me a dozen times by now. It's always a gamble. Veer clicks his tongue in disapproval. When he finally looks my way, it's with a half-lidded gaze softened by his third glass of champagne. Were I you, I wouldn't let Leander put anything in my mouth. He fans his fingers over his chest, voice dripping with fake reverence. The Wetwick is one of the finest drinking establishments in all of Iridia. While you're here, you might as well partake of the signature watered-down drinks in stale nut leather. He sweeps his hand towards a chipped ceramic bowl filled with spindly, speckled jerky that I can only assume is nut leather. What is with the food in this city? As abysmal as you make it sound, this place is completely packed. It's not all bad. Depending on the day, the food's edible. Ice takes a measured sip of his drink. Gotta stick around for the real attractions, though. Before I can ask what he means, Leander returns with a tumbler that he sets in front of me. Uneven chunks of ice bob in a pool of reddish-purple alcohol. I sniff the drink suspiciously. To my relief, this time all I smell is the sharp, clean scent of gin with an undercurrent of fermented fruit. Okay. Yeah. Relax, it's just a local specialty, plum gin. Although, if you're feeling more adventurous... I shake my head. Leander raps his knuckles against the bar until the group falls silent. Alright, everyone, let's toast. May Mahali's stay in Iridia be full of bright adventures and discoveries. Cheers. Leander, Ice, and Veers raise their glasses in unison. Min only crosses their arms, and Karas watches with polite indifference. I tip back my drink. The plum gin is eye-wateringly strong. Despite a sharp medicinal edge, it goes down smooth. One sip softens the edges of my vision. The next fades the din of the crowded bar to a low, persistent murmur. I find myself unwinding for what feels like the first time in years. Aren't you the popular one, Molly? I'm guessing you met Karas first. It would be more accurate to say that I found her. He saved my life. I merely performed my duty as a doctor. Although I must admit that I was confused when I woke up missing all my clothes. Leander makes a choke noise. Somewhere behind him, Min sighs. It's not what you think! Mahali was in grave condition. I could hardly treat such injuries through tattered clothes. The silence that follows stretches uncomfortably long. I look away, unable to face Karas's disappointment, and catch Veer snickering behind his hand. That's my cue to change the subject. Karas wasn't the only one who saved me today. Don't you listen. I didn't save you. You were simply there. That's Min for you. Leander reaches for Min, but they duck under his arm with practiced ease, without so much as looking his way. As reliable as they are moody. You're one to talk considering you neglected to warn her to stay off the streets at night. Oh, I might have gotten a little distracted. Min's only response is a short breath. At any rate, I never got a chance to thank you, Min. Don't. The less soulless alive, the better. For a heartbeat, Min's eyes flicker towards Ice, and their lips twist. Ice is too busy nodding along Veer's enthusiastic pantomime of stabbing to notice, lost, no doubt, in enthralling discussion. I've had enough of this hellhole. Let's go. Min and Karas share a brief look. Then the doctor speaks up. Very well, but there is something I must discuss with Leander. If you'll excuse us, Molly. And just like that, the three of them depart, leaving me alone to savor my gin in silence. Or so I think, until I hear a voice so soft and low it's practically a purr. Lost your tour guide? I turn to find Crimson and Pink eyes trained on me. It's not lost on me that they chose the instant the others left to strike. Just my luck. I had to be abandoned with the two most irritating people I've met all day. Monsters or not, there's no telling what I'll do if either of them push me again. Don't tell me Leander already snuck off to get his knob slobbered out back. He's got business with Karas and Min. You want one business? Isn't he lucky? Are we really sitting here thinking that Leander's a whore? I can't tell if it's the champagne or the company, but Veer has grown noticeably more relaxed. He sits with his chin propped on the back of his hand. His ears twitch whenever a hiccup shakes his shoulders. Why are you so far away? Come, join us. He pats the empty bar stool beside Ice, but I hesitate. The smile Veer wears is sweet and distinctly sly. With the drinks in mix, I dread how he and Ice will mess with me next. You don't bite. I'm not sure about that. Just hours ago he tried to rob me, and you threatened me. Me? Steal? Surely you must be mistaken. You sure it was me? Yes, it was you, and you had the gall to kick me out just so you could go drinking. He gives another one of his shrugs. I was lonely. A simpler answer than I expected, but I guess I can't fault him for that. Veer suddenly slumps forward, gossamer sleeves pooling where he rests his elbows on his knees. Ice sets his hand on Veer's waist, narrowly preventing him from tipping off the counter. How about we start fresh? Begin with a proper introduction. Let's get off on the right foot and whatnot. I'll start. The name's Veer, Hunter Extraordinaire. Veer's right hand flutters to his chest, and he bows his head, flinching when the hair falls to his eyes. Ice doesn't say anything, so I suppose it's my turn now. It's Mahali. Veer considers me for a long moment, his tail idly swaying behind him. Then he knocks back the rest of his champagne. It's a pleasure to formally meet you, Mahali. He says my name slowly and deliberately, savoring every syllable. The tingles jump down my spine, and I turn my gaze quickly away. Eyes smirks in my reaction over the rim of his glass. Is something funny? Nope. I open my mouth and close it just as quickly. They want me to react, goading me into another ridiculous game. While their sharp, cat-like eyes keep me on edge, something about this tension is fun. It must be the gin. A flash of white over Ice's shoulder catches my eye. Across the bar, Karas heads for the door. I don't see Leander or Min, but it feels wrong to let him leave without saying goodbye. I'll be back. Veer hums and wags his fingers at me as I leave. I slip through the crowd, careful not to touch anyone. But just as I'm nearing Karas... I stagger, shoulder checked by a man with a neck thicker than both my thighs. He stares down at me, nostrils flaring. Out of my way, shit stain! My words spill out on their own. You watch it! I regret them as soon as they leave my mouth. That fucking gin! The roughneck wheels around, shoving a bloodhound out of the way so he can close in on me. What did you say? He shoves me backwards, sending me stumbling to the sticky floor. I'm fine, but my heart leaps into my throat when I see the roughneck bearing down on me. Trying to start something here? The roughneck freezes, his fist cocked back. A group of bloodhounds called by the commotion circle him, sizing him up. For what feels like an agonizingly long moment, the roughneck looks from me to the bloodhounds. Finally, he sniffs and spits on the floor next to me, the lob narrowly missing my cheek. Screw it. Too many freaks in this circus tonight. He turns his back on me. Comes face to face with Ice. A dangerous smile spreads across his face. You'll do. What happens next is a blur. Ice's fist crashes into the roughneck's jaw, causing an eruption of gasps, shouts, and even cheers around us. I scramble to my feet right as the frantic crowd swarms around me, cutting off my sight from everything and everyone. Through the ruckus, I hear Leander shouting, "Hey, hey, Ice, take it outside! Ignore them, everyone. Look, drinks are on me!" With those 4 words, the wick erupts into hoots and hollers. The ring around me disperses as bloodhounds and onlookers rush towards the bar. Through the thinning crowd, I catch glimpses of familiar faces. Ice vanishes out the back, dragging the roughneck behind him. Karas lingers near the door, searching, I suspect, for any wounded before he departs. Min draws their hood up tightly as they slip out the side door, while Ver leaves over the counter to swipe a glass of wine from behind the bar. And Leander, seated at the opposite end of the bar, gestures dramatically and apologetically at the bartender. In the space of a heartbeat, I realize there's no telling when or if I'll see them ever again. Whoever I pursue may be the last person I get to speak to tonight. Okay, that's obviously clearly a choice. I follow. Okay! Fuck! Balls! Karas or Leander? The other 3, I'm like, nah. But Karas or Leander? I want to know more about Karas. But I kind of want to know more about Leander. Fuck! Fuck! God damn it, son of a bitch. This is interesting. This is interesting. Oh. Oof, 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 oof. Mind you, I'm only doing 1 route. Maybe 2 if we really, really want. If we really push it. Otherwise, you should try the demo on your own. You should try the demo out for yourselves and see what you find in the other routes. I'm interested in Karas first, then we'll do Leander. I'm interested in Karas first. So let's go Karas. Then we'll do Leander. We'll save and do we'll load and do Leander, okay? Alright, so Karas. Hot on Karas's heels, I squeeze my way out of the bar. Of everyone I've met, he seems the most likely to help me, and the least likely to murder me on a whim. Earlier this morning, he said I could go to the clinic for help whenever I needed it. Time to see if that promise was actually worth anything. I breathe a sigh of relief once I'm free of the crowded bar. Karas, hearing me, turns my way. Mahali, you seem upset. I take it the Amaryllis district is not to your liking. If nothing else, it's wildly different from the secluded temple where I spent most of my days. That's not why I stepped out. You are not in need of treatment after that fall, are you? I scowl up at him, and he holds out his hand in a mollifying gesture. I apologize, Molly. Please continue. About time? Someone cuts across from me towards Karas, stopping us both in the middle of the street. Even in the dim pink haze that seems to blanket everything, there's no mistaking the pressed white uniform and stiffly starched hat. Another cenobium cleric. I hastily step back, making myself as inconspicuous as possible. Can I help you? Nervous onlookers hastily part around Karas and the cleric. The two form an island of white in a sea of teeming color. Enough, you know I am here. Then I hope you find this edifying. Ross reaches into his coat and produces 3 tiny glass vials, bound together with a thick leather cord. A silvery powder shimmers inside. He gently flicks the glass, watching the contents swirl, and extends the vials to the cleric. This is it? They look extremely unimpressed. Appearances can be deceiving. He throws me a glance and a swift smile, but I'm too surprised to respond. Ross was the first to warn me about the cenobium. Nobody I met had anything good to say about them. And yet here he is, openly dealing with them in the Amaryllis district? I glance between Karas and the cleric, who seems to notice me for the very first time. Good night. They bow to Karas, offering me an extremely perfunctory nod, and disappear into the seething crowd. Molly, is something amiss? Isn't that dangerous? Isn't that dangerous? A conversation is hardly dangerous. You know what I mean. You were the one who warned me about the cenobium. Shh. Be calm. He holds one finger to his lips, which suddenly curl in a cat-like smile. What's with this music? For now, please join me on a short stroll. Frost's golden eyes twinkle in the low light. He beckons me away from the main thoroughfare, down a side street filled with vendors hawking late-night snacks. Wait! Now, powerfully curious in spite of myself, I hurry after Karas. Each of his long, strideful glides is easily two of mine. I catch a glimpse of his gleaming white cloak disappearing around the corner of the street. The moment I catch up, the delicious scents of freshly baked goods flood my nose. Oh, my stomach gives a loud rumble. 1 honey pistachio cookie, please.
Coming right up!
Without breaking his swift pace, Karas plucks the tiny confection out of the merchant's hand and offers it to me. The heavenly smell makes my stomach rumble once more. I'm actually hungry, so this is actually kind of valid! I take a bite without hesitation. Karas watches me with an indulgent smile, and I notice he hasn't gotten anything for himself. You're not hungry? You need not concern yourself with me. He stops mid-sentence, his eyes darting back the way we came. The hairs stick up on the back of my neck. I turn just enough to peek over my shoulder, hoping I don't look too suspicious. Sure enough, it's the same cleric who waylaid us in the street, now wearing a thunderously angry expression. Uh-oh. Well, disappointment can be a learning experience. Glimmers of realization dawn over me as I stare up at him. What exactly was in those vials? Perhaps a rare and potent alchemic catalyst? Or some stale fish skin. Those two do resemble one another, and it can be hard to tell them apart. Is he serious? I chant another glance at the cleric, who is now trying to elbow their way between the footstalls. A few people make way, but most don't even notice their efforts. The street is far too crowded with hungry patrons. Shall we? Without even waiting for a response from me, he glides swiftly into the crowd once more. You're messing with them! Wait, you're messing with them! You're messing with a cenobium cleric? Such impolite behavior. I am astounded you would even suggest it. Karas! I still look incredulous because his smile softens a little. He lifts his hand as if to pat my shoulder, then stops. As I said, you have nothing to fear. He ducks into what looks like an abandoned doorway, but opens to a small covered market. The stalls here are full of more spices than I knew existed. Even taking a short breath makes me sneeze. Karas knows his pace, occasionally pausing to examine the insistent hawker's wares. Wait. He looks up from a display of livid red leaves, each as long as my forearm. You said I have nothing to fear, but everyone in Iridia seems wary of the cenobium. People fear the obvious trappings of power. Wealth, force, or a hideously ostentatious tower. For my part, I find such trappings merely disappointing. The cenobium once had great potential. They squandered it decades ago, in the pursuit of trinkets, pleasure, and petty tyranny. Their narrow, prosaic interests have rendered them blind to all else that moves. I think that's the most I've ever heard Karas say on any topic. You sound like you know them well. Karas lets out a long, low sigh. You miss Little Mahal. Familiarity breeds contempt, and I'm more familiar with the cenobium's crude methods than I would like. Now I'm getting somewhere. Something beyond vague warnings or swift deflections. I decide to press to the point while I have the chance. The familiar how? Karas stops right in front of the display of pickled fruits, and I nearly run into his back. He steps aside at the last moment. His arm rests gently but firmly on my waist. I tense, but he's careful to avoid my bandaged hands. Our pursuer refused to take no for an answer. Them again? I thought we'd lost them in the crowd. I crane my neck to look for the cleric, but Karas shakes his head. This way. The next street over seems to be the home to the high-end brothels. It's full of steep stairways and shadowy passages, perfect for discreet trysts or losing a persistent tale. Pink curtains and painted facades sprawl around me like a giant, colorful warren. It only takes a few more twists and turns down blind alleys and narrow walkways before I'm completely turned around. Karas, however, seems to be following some map of his own mind. He takes each turn with swift confidence, guiding me with the occasional nudge. The gaps between teetering buildings can hardly be called alleys, so narrow we have to pass through single file. Just a little further. The effortless grace in which he moves is almost infuriating. It takes every ounce of concentration I have just to avoid tripping over loose tiles, discarded clothes, and unidentified rubbish. Meanwhile, his long legs almost seem to float over every obstacle. His His clothes are still completely pristine despite the soot-stained walls on either side. How the hell does he do? Is he like some sort of like angelic being, where it's just kind of like an oracle, or like a big siren, or like some sort of like angel, or like some sort of like holy being, where it's just like, dust will not land on me. I'm still trying to puzzle out, but I realize how warm it is with me tripping on his heels. The tiny gasp between us seems to radiate heat, like beating midday sun in the longest day of summer. Stay close. I definitely don't want to get lost here. I stay as close to Karas as I can without accidentally touching him. I promise I will not lose you. Was I that obvious? Our eyes meet, and despite my best efforts, I find it hard to hold his gaze. Those golden eyes send hot pins and needles racing along my spine. It's not unpleasant, but I've never felt anything like it before. Thank you for indulging me, Molly. I believe we've lost our tail. Great! Fantastic. Wonderful. It's much quieter at the edges of the Amaryllis district, and the deals in the shadows look shadier. Did you enjoy your impromptu tour? Relief escapes me in a tired laugh. After the day I've had, playing keep away from a cenobium cleric seems almost normal. I wasn't in mortal peril, so that's a nice change of pace. He laughs too, a soft and pleasant chuckle completely at odds with his cool, usual demeanor. Are you sure we lost that cleric? If there is one thing you can count on, it is the elitism of the cenobium's finest. They will not deign to follow us this far. He sounds confident enough. I was starting to wonder if we'd have to make a full circuit of the city to ditch them. A beam of moonlight cuts through the clouds, casting his face into sharp relief. However, I should escort you back to your lodgings. It would be unwise to let you go alone. Well, what about you? Are you staying at the Wetwick? Of course not. Then you're going back to your clinic alone. You just said that was a bad idea. He pauses, stares at me, then his expression relaxes into a gentle smile. Fear not, Molly. Only the most desperate or foolish would dare lay a hand on them. It sounds insane after 2 near-death soulless encounters, but part of me believes him. And sorry guys, I'm very focused on this game. I'm so sorry. I'm pulled in. I'm hooked. This game is really interesting. The few people who are still out huddled beneath street lamps and in doorways, desperate to be as close to safety as possible. Ross, on the other hand, looks more relaxed than I've ever seen him. He's strolling down the middle of the street, bold as if it were broad daylight. Even walking alongside him makes me feel more secure, warmer both inside and out. I hang on to that faint spark of hope and screw up my courage. Did you mean it this morning? When you said I could come back to you for help? Every word. All his earlier mirth vanishes, replaced by calm focus. I don't know what to say to that. I almost expected his offer to be a courtesy, an easy way to get me out the door. The fact that he meant it. Why do you ask? I believe I have already made my intention to help you quite clear. His eyes flicked briefly to my arm, the one that he miraculously reattached when he found me. I can almost imagine him counting the neat stitches. I just wanted to make certain. I wanted to make certain. I'm still figuring out who's trustworthy and who's trouble. I see. Viridia does tend to attract extreme individuals. Including you? Ah, Mahali. I decline to incriminate myself in your eyes. I can recognize a smooth deflection when I hear one. Though if he won't talk more about himself, maybe he'll tell me about someone else. I decide to ask about... I'm curious about Leander. Why did you send me to Leander for help? You know Iridia better than Leander. The company he keeps can be questionable, but I had confidence in him. Yeah, his bloodhounds seemed rough around the edges. Leander has always preferred the company of those like him. Survivors of Lowtown's harsh realities. You must have noticed how they flocked to him. I nod. He seemed to know every single person in the Wetwick. And that's a good thing? Leander's closest peers trust him with their very lives. I would say that counts for something. I'm good. I don't want to really know about anyone else. My curiosity sated for now, I fall silent. I wish Karas had given me just a little more to go on, but he seems almost as tight-lipped about others as he is about himself. By the time we're back at the Wet Wick, the Amaryllis district seems even noisier and more raucous than before. Drunken patrons overflow into the streets, which reek of spilt wine. How am I supposed to sleep with all this racket? I suggest the stiffest drink at the bar. Alternatively, a ball of wax. Very funny. Even with how tired I am, I'm not sure I'll get a wink of sleep. I'm about to say goodnight to Karas when someone staggers out of the Wet Wick and right into me. I stumbled back, heels teetering over the edge of a filthy gutter. Molly? The next thing I know, a pair of warm arms catch me around the waist. Oh! I find myself staring up at Karas, pressed against his chest. His grasp loosens, but he doesn't quite let me go. Something shifts in his gaze. His eyes fix on my face, and I feel myself growing hot over all of his intense scrutiny. What does he see in me? What is he looking for? For us? Yes. You can let go. Are you quite sure? Someone else might stumble into you. This time I can feel the heat of his laughter, the way it flutters through his chest and mine. I'm actually not sure. My head swims. Karas's warmth and closeness wash over me. I shouldn't be this close. If I touch him by accident, if I somehow curse the man who saved my life. Good night, Molly. He finally steps away and I let out a breath I hadn't realized I was holding. Good night. Thanks for everything today. You are most welcome. He turns and slips into the crowd, though I can pick out his pristine white coat with ease. A chilly gust howls down the street. When did it get so cold out? Oh! What do you mean choose my fate? Hold the fuck on! Hold the fuck on! What the fuck do you mean choose my fate? What the fuck do you mean? Fuck across. Yeah, if we're already here, fuck it. Oh, cool. Alright, that's a thing. Great. Alright. Cool. Alright, that was TOUCHSTARVED. That was TOUCHSTARVED. I would do Leander's, but I'm a little peckish. As in, like, I'm a little hungry to where it's like, well, oh my god. We got all the cutscenes. Let's go. But yeah, the demo is free. It's available on Steam. It was Kickstarted. It was successful, and they're making the full game right now. I believe there's going to be voice acting. I just don't know who the voice acting cast is, which, by the way, devs, if you need any extras, I'm willing to, like, pitch in 100%. Love visual novels. This one really interests me. But anyways, wow. That was good. What do you guys think? That was good. I like it. I like it a lot. I really like it a lot. Look at these little nerds. Very good visual novel. Alright, let's see. Who am I going to throw you at? I'm throwing you all somewhere. Which people? Who am I throwing? If they... Do it again. I'm gonna throw you all toward... Alpha. Love my boy Alpha. Love him. He's great. I'm gonna throw you all at him. So, Twitch peeps, go to Alpha's channel. But anyways, you all are awesome. Thank you so much for coming. Have wonderful, sweet dreams. And I will see you all next time. Love you all.